I gotta tell you, man, I'm under the there is no question. There is no question. People now in the city of Philadelphia do not do their job in the media. They just don't do their job in the media. Community access to media, Jordan Mulatto. I don't really want to even know what the award stands for, or I don't even want to know what the award means. I personally just want a reporter one day, and I'm not talking John. John does a great job every day. He's in the pit talking to the coordinators or the head coach. By the way, our 4 hours are powered by our friends at BetUS. Folks, make sure you check out their website. Of course, we started off with big sales. And I'm just saying, man, this is why our show, and I mean with you, is the fastest viewed show in all of Philadelphia and on YouTube. It's because it's not that I'm great. It's the only place where you can actually talk and nobody give a fuck what's going on. It's ridiculous, man. I mean, Bob Lang. I mean, the guy, honest to God, the guy worked at Estee Lauder before he got the NFL gig. You know that, right? It was some sort of like beauty place that he worked back in the day. You know that, right? This guy was like, he worked at Estee. My aunt worked at Estee Lauder for years. He worked at Estee Lauder. Just so if you want some sort of beauty place, I was told. Holy cow, man. I mean, hey, all good. No doubt. Hey, and please, can I have something else? We're going on the air here. I didn't ask Xander this question prior to us going on the air. Is Hurts out of protocol yet? Is he out of protocol? Has he come out of protocol? What the fuck is the big deal here? Dude, there is no mystery. He's playing. Why are you playing a game with the concussion protocol? Why are you doing that? He's playing Sunday. Everybody knows this. Nobody's worried about it. Why are they dicking around with it? Okay, why are they dicking around with that? What's the point? Just stupid shit, man. I mean it. It's like a kid's game. They do the dumbest shit on the planet, and no one buys it. It's competitive edge. This is not competitive edge. Are you kidding me, man? I mean, look at what's his name over here. Bruce goes, let it go. What do you mean fucking let it go? It's Wednesday. It's Tuesday. Well, still, he can't get out of concussion protocol until he practices. Come on, man. You can't answer questions about it in today's press conference. Everyone knows the guy's playing. How dumb can you get, man? How dumb can you get? By the way, the legendary Wayne Larrivee will join us at 4:30. The voice, he is the Merrill Reese of the Green Bay Packers. They've had so many legendary broadcasters for the Green Bay Packers. Ray Scott, some of you probably never heard the name. At one time, there were two voices in the National Football League. One was John Facenda, and the other one was Ray Scott. And Wayne Larrivee happens to be one of the broadcasters that follows down that line, and he's in that Merrill Reese for that organization and for their fans. He's in that line, so Wayne Larrivee will join us at 4:30. We're also trying to do our best to get Eric Allen on today. So either today or tomorrow, he's got Raider obligations, and we're hoping to get Eric Allen on today. Do me a favor, please hit the like button. I love that Green Bay Packer organization. You know, there's things in the NFL that show you about stability and how you win and how you remain successful. You know, you guys talk about the success that you've had, and it's good success. It's not great, but it's really good success. It borderlines great. The Eagles borderline great. Okay? They borderline it. I mean, you got to win championships to validate it, though. Okay? And the Packers, obviously, have won, I think Lombardi won 2, Holmgren won 1, and McCarthy, he won 1. So the Packers have won 4. Okay? But here's one of the greatest statistics. This goes right down the line of what the Steelers do with their three head coaches. Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, and now Mike Tomlin. Since 1969, they've only had 3 head coaches in that building in Pittsburgh, which is remarkable. It's stability. It's why they got 6 Super Bowl rings. In Green Bay, in the last 31 years, I've brought this stat up to you before. This is insane. In the last 31 years, the Green Bay Packers have had 3 guys take 97% of the snaps. Brett Favre was there for 16 starting years. Rodgers was there 18 years, but 15 starting. And now Love with 2. That's 31 years of 3 quarterbacks. They get it right, man. They get that quarterback position right. That is a telling thing. Green Bay, when they draft you, you're their starter. And they're expecting you. They're expecting you to be a player that's going to take the baton from these other guys. Can you imagine? How about this? Andres goes and says, how many Super Bowls? More than you. Over the same period of time. More than you. I knew that was going to pop up. How many Super Bowls? More than the Eagles. Okay? More than you. During the Jeffrey Lurie time, he's owned the team 30 years. Well, they got 2 Super Bowl wins. You got 1. So before you start barking, take a look at yourselves. Okay? And on top of that, you got those 2 quarterbacks are all Hall of Famers. They develop Hall of Fame quarterbacks, and they do win a Super Bowl. Okay? And they do win a Super Bowl. All right. It's going to be a pretty interesting ball game. I can't wait for this thing here. I was asked the question prior to going on the air. Oh, by the way, my final top 10 quarterback list for the regular season. MVP. This is for the NFL alumni, NFL honors. We'll do this. My top 10 NFL teams for the regular season. We will do that as well. Vic Fangio and Kellen Moore both spoke to the media. Okay? Let me ask you this question here. Out of the gate here. The Philadelphia Eagles are now the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th favorite team to win the Super Bowl. Detroit, according to ESPN Football Power Index, 25.8% chance. The Ravens are 2 at 13.8. Kansas City is 12.3. Buffalo is 9.7. And the Philadelphia Eagles come in at 5th at 8.4. One of the reasons is clear to me. It's the quarterback. If you had a better quarterback, you'd probably be the ultimate favorite. If you had a better, there's nothing on that team. Get this. Let's take a look at that power ranking again. Okay? Take a look at the power ranking again. Does Detroit have a better roster than Philly? It's close, but no. Okay? It's close, but no. Does Baltimore have a better roster than Philly? No. Does Kansas City have a better roster than Philly? No. Does Buffalo have a better roster than Philly? No. What's the one common denominator then? Every one of those other teams has a better quarterback. I've had this conversation with Xander before. Would you rather have a better quarterback or a better roster? Would you rather have the roster? You had the better roster a couple of years ago and got beat by the better quarterback. You got beat by the better quarterback. Same thing with San Francisco a year ago. I think having the better roster doesn't necessarily mean you win Super Bowls. Not if you don't have the better quarterback. Nick Foles had a special moment. And by the way, he had a special run in the playoffs. You've got to get production out of that quarterback if you're going to win Super Bowls. By the way, that index isn't my index. The only reason that the Eagles, I think the Eagles should be probably the favorite to win it, but they're not. Why? Because they're quarterback. This all comes down to the quarterback and whether or not he's good enough to win a Super Bowl. Sills, he got there a couple of years ago. I get it. I get it. I don't think that guy, and Xander's right. You know what the roster does? The roster affords him not to have to play great every day and every game. Lamar has to play great. Allen has to play great. Okay? Mahomes has to play great. Golf, not so much, but he does. The only guy that doesn't have to play great is in Philly. By the way, this isn't really an indictment. And I have people say this all the time to me. Seals, you hate Hurts. No, this has nothing to do with Jalen Hurts. This is to do with building a football team and getting the maximum out of your roster. I could care less about Jalen Hurts as a human being. I don't care. I don't care he's a good guy. I don't care he's this. Right now, this time of the year, I don't care what he does. I don't care that he does things in the community. I'm not talking about community man or Walter Payton man of the year. I'm talking about winning a Super Bowl. I could care less about that shit. That it's no bearing on winning. I had a guy tweet me a couple of minutes ago. Sills, Eagles have won a lot. I go, what have you won? Okay, again, I really don't care about him personally. I have no caring really about any of these guys. I could care less about Josh Allen personally. I could care less. That kind of Lamar because he's a South Florida kid. I know a lot of people that coached him. I like him. I've spoken to him. I've spoken with him. I like Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert's a friend. But when it gets down to it, I don't really care. You know, I'm not close to players for a reason, and I'm not close to certain coaches for a reason. You know why? You got to be critical sometimes of people. You lose a lot of friends when you're like that. I don't really care. This comes down to this. You have every component. And I'll make a point to you also here on this. If Jalen Hurts wins the Super Bowl, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. Okay, I'm wrong. If that guy wins the Super Bowl, I'll be completely wrong in this. That the 29-03 and the 18 touchdowns never mattered. The passing game being 30th never mattered. The fact that he misses wide open receivers and he's late on throws, takes a ton of sacks, won't matter if he wins it. So right now, we're in a race. Who will be right? You or me? All the winning, 14-3, right now it's irrelevant. You're a wild card team. Doesn't really matter now. That record is irrelevant. Now, I say that with an asterisk. If Detroit gets beat, it does matter. Because then the NFC Championship game is in Philly. It will matter then. But today, January 7th, it doesn't matter. You're a wild card team. You're playing wild card weekend. Okay? This is my favorite type of sports talk. You're right or I'm wrong. All the things that I said. Sills, you said the Eagles would win 9 games. I did. I didn't think their defense would be as good. And I thought your offense would be rocky and bumpy this year. And I said that turned out to be true, actually. The only thing not rocky about it was the run game. Pass game was rocky all year. I wasn't really wrong about my comments about Kellen Moore being the wrong coordinator for Hurts. He might be the right coordinator for the team, but he is the wrong coordinator for Jalen. Is that fair? You won 14 games. Not really needing a passing game this year. 2903 are high school numbers. Jalen Hurts has high school football numbers. You really didn't need the guy. So, this is my favorite type of sports. I have said all these things. It built up all these receipts. Never staying in the middle of anything. And here we are on a Tuesday. I'm either going to be right or you're going to be. I don't like grading on a bell curve. This is how I've done my job for 35 years. Either we built this all up right here. We're days away now. We're days away. I never said 7 wins. I said it, and I said this right before the start of the season. I'm not going to fucking go over this again. It's on tape. I picked 9 wins. I upped it before the season started to 9. Okay? Yeah. It's a lie. So you won 10, 11, 12. You won 4 more games. Okay. I said the Commanders would win the East. They came up 2 games shy. It's all right. They're in the playoffs. First time in over 20 years. Good for them. Okay? Get this right here. And see what this guy says? Where is this now? Where is this? Here we go. Sills has been wrong all season. I never wasn't wrong about your offense. At all, and your quarterback. Was wrong about Barkley because he stunk in New York. And guess what, Cypher? What are you right about? The regular season? I'll tell you what, I've never seen more Eagle fans celebrate a regular season more, this generation of people that follow the team, more so than going after the ultimate prize. This guy right here, man, celebrates mediocrity. Well, Sills, our record's not mediocre. No, but your postseason record is. Under your owner, he's 500, I think. He's won more postseason wins than anybody in the NFC East. He's 17-17. Okay. Congratulations for doing your job. Get this, C25, he just wins. Wins what? Exactly what does he win? C25, this guy. What exactly does Jalen Hurts win? What has he won? An SEC title. Okay. It's a big accomplishment. Okay. How many? What does he win? Hurts hate? Jalen Hurts has nothing to do with it. Just asking, what has he won? You brought it up. Flexen, thank you, brother. Still said 9 wins max, like me at the start of the season. I don't do that, Flexen. You know people here. That's a good one. That's a good one. Yes, an NFC title. Him and Jimmy Garoppolo could sit around the fireside and have a fireside chat one day about winning an NFC title. Him and Colin Kaepernick and Jimmy Garoppolo could have a get-together and a reunion of quarterbacks that have won NFC titles in the last couple of years. Yeah, Colin Kaepernick and Garoppolo and Hurts can all talk about the great NFC championships that they won. Yeah, sure. Okay? Shit, Allen ain't one dick either. He's going to win the MVP. Yeah. That's what happens when you got to carry a football team on your back. How you doing? So wait a minute. Am I wrong when I said this? Shit, ESPN came out with your odds here. What? Really, Detroit? How do you guys feel about Detroit being favored over you to win the Super Bowl? Do I believe that? Okay. Do I believe that? I don't know if I believe that. Do I think they're that much of a favorite to win the Super Bowl? Hey, by the way, I picked them to win it. Do I think they're that much better than Philly? I don't. Hey, if anything, shouldn't Philly be second in these power rankings? Philly beat Baltimore. In the last 2 years, Philly's beaten every one of these teams. Haven't they? Right? Last 3 years, they've beaten Detroit. Hurts is beating wait a minute now. Wait a minute. Hurts is beating every one of these fucking teams. Detroit, Baltimore, Kansas City, and Buffalo. And they're the fifth favorite? I thought you guys were the best. Dude, and I will say this to you about Detroit. Hey, so like Detroit, with all their great playoff experience, how do you think they're going to play in the postseason? I do think that NFC Championship disaster of a year ago is going to help them. Baltimore's got all the pressure here. Hey, that's a great question before we move on. Of these top 5 teams, who has the most pressure? Goff, Lamar, Mahomes, Allen, or Hurts? Jared Goff doesn't have any pressure. He's playing with house money. Jared Goff was sent to Detroit as a stopgap guy, and he's turned out to be the guy. Okay? I mean, he's turned out to be the guy. Here's my issue with Hurts. The Eagles could have started the third-string quarterback the entire season and got the same result. I say better. Like you, if not more. Production from the passing game, and he makes 10 times less money, which could have been spread out more on your defensive side. It just shows you, too, also how great of a coach Vic Fangio's been this year and how he's taken that talent that he's gotten, okay, and how he could just take these guys that they drafted and have done all these great things here. I agree with you, Nasty. I don't think Hurts brought anything to the passing game whatsoever. Wait a minute. Wait, I'm going to take that back because I've got to be fair. And I don't want to come off like a hater. Could Saquon Barkley have run for 2,000 yards if Jalen Hurts was not the quarterback of this team? No. No. Could Tanner McKee have given Saquon Barkley the 2,000-yard rushing season if he was the starting quarterback in Philly? No. That dynamic of him being able to run is also the fear that opens up the run game. There's no way Saquon Barkley. Here, I think this is a great asset for Hurts. There is not any way possible Saquon Barkley has the year he has if Hurts is not in that huddle. That I agree with. Maybe at the end of the day, and this is what we're going to be doing here for the playoffs here. This is what we're going to be doing here for the playoffs. Okay? Okay? This is what we could do. If they win the Super Bowl, he's the right fit for what they're doing. I'm just not sure that's sustainable. Okay? I'm just not sure that's sustainable. Oh, by the way, Richard, here's the deal. AJ had 1,500 yards. What did we win? Great take. That is a fantastic take by Richard. This is why we love people like Nasty and Richard. Richard gives me a shit ton all the time. 1,500 yards ain't going to win you a Super Bowl. But I will say this to you, Richard. If 2,000 yards doesn't win you one, will we not think it's the quarterback? What else do you need to know? If you don't win a Super Bowl, having a receiver have 1,500 yards receiving, and then if you turn around this year and you have a running back with 2,000 yards and you don't win it, I mean, this is my favorite time of the year. This is my favorite time of the year. Yes, the run game would 100% decrease without Hurts. Absolutely. I completely agree. Barkley would have been around 1,300 yards this year, 1,400 yards. But that O-line probably in that 1,500-yard range, somewhere in there. That's a great season, by the way. It's a great season. But Hurts helps the other. He helps it a lot. But this is a team that paid A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert. Okay? Just can't be content on 150 yards passing a game. Absolutely true. Brady, 35 of 48 post wins in 23 seasons. Hurts not yet. Hurts most pressure. I like Hurts. Jack of all trades, master of none. Bird's good enough to win the Super Bowl because of the team he's on. Not Hurts around him. But team is a reason for success, not Hurts. I don't think that's fair totally. Okay? I think he contributes to that roster. T-Bone, don't think he doesn't contribute. Okay? And the fact that the defense came around, guys, here's where we are with this. Dude, he is the centerpiece. If you're going to win the Super Bowl, it's not Barkley. It's Jalen Hurts. Just like it's every quarterback in every single playoff market. It's going to come down to the quarterback. This is what we're talking about today. This is not a novelty thing or some sort of Jalen. He's got to be it. Buffalo, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, LA. I can't remember the last time both LA teams made the playoffs. I mean, I don't remember when Los Angeles had two teams make the playoffs. I can't remember that last time that thing happened. Both New York teams are awful, and both LA teams are in the playoffs. Crazy. You all need to stop with the McKee over praising. No. Why would we stop? You should be thankful. Get this. Here's a guy here. He was playing a garbage team in Week 18. Comparing him to Hurts is laughable. Who's comparing him to Hurts? He's a better passer than Hurts. He's not a better quarterback than Hurts. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Overpraising? Oh, I said yesterday he's not ready yet. That guy couldn't win 3 games in a row for you. Hang in there. He needs reps. He needs timing. But he's got a lot of talent. The fuck are you talking about? Hey, don't get so butthurt over your guy, Jalen Hurts, if somebody happens to like another skill set that someone else has. That's absolutely ridiculous. This is not about liking one player or another. This is about liking the best player that can get the job done. And Hurts right now is the guy. This postseason will define the rest of Hurts' career. If he wins a Super Bowl, that'll be 2 Super Bowl appearances in 4 years and 1 win. Absolutely correct. And Chris, I'll be 1,000% wrong. Count your steps when we win the Super Bowl, big guy. Okay. Hey, you can do all the barking you want now, but you have nothing on me right now. Okay? And I have nothing on you except the things that I've said. Sander, if I miss the Super, please let me know. We're in this thing 0-0 right now. Records are 0-0. There's nothing. Tanner McKee, folks, Stop with that. Tanner McKee's not better than Jalen Hurts. Would I feel better with Tanner McKee in the pocket right now as a starting quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday against the Packers? Absolutely not. Who in their right mind would say that? Does he look like he's got a ton of promise? Yes. Don't get over your skis. Relax. I thought kid playing in his first game, getting the amount of reps he had, thought he was fabulous. Jesus criminy. You guys were on your knees with Carson Wentz, and in 5 years, you guys were shitting all over him. You're going to throw a guy like that out there in a playoff game against Green Bay, having started one game? I might want to pump the brakes on that. I mean, you guys were kissing the ass of Carson Wentz when he was the MVP and runner-up MVP a couple of years back when they won the Super Bowl, and all of a sudden you ended up taking a giant shit on him as he walked out the door, and you knew he wasn't the guy. You might want to hang in there over one game. I mean, and by the way, am I defending Jalen? No, I'm just saying the same thing. Pump the brakes on Tanner. Looks like there's something there. He's got a bigger arm than Hurts. He's a bigger player than Hurts. Okay? But for the record, I mean, he's just got a better pocket presence, it looks like. But one game. This is what I told you about paying Hurts after one season. I'm not a fan of that. I want to see more. Okay? I want to see more. Please hit the like button. I appreciate it. Hey, like I said with these quarterbacks in the playoffs about pressure, Jared Goff has no pressure. Jared Goff has played in 2 conference championship games with 2 different teams and gone to a Super Bowl himself. I'll put it to you this way. If Jared Goff wins the Super Bowl this year, you're going to start talking Hall of Fame. Right? 2 Super Bowl appearances, 3 conference championship appearances, 2 conference championship wins. How are you not going to talk Hall of Fame? With Jared and a guy that I'm not a fan of. If Jared Goff wins the Super Bowl, he's going to be talked about. Hey, Cody, Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame. Here. Take a look at this with Jared Goff. He's got to win the Super Bowl, I'm saying. You can't just keep putting up these Kirk Cousins numbers. Now, he wins more than Dak. Okay? How about this? Like I said, this guy is he's the second most accomplished quarterback in the NFC right now next to Matthew Stafford. And the only reason Stafford's got an under 500 record as a starting quarterback in the NFL. Take a look at what Jared Goff has done in his career. And if Jared Goff wins the Super Bowl, here, take a look at it. You tell me if this guy wins the Super Bowl this year. Jared Goff has got 35,000 passing yards, 222 touchdowns, and 94 picks. He's thrown for $4,000, 46.88, and 32 touchdowns, 46.38, and 30 touchdowns, 4,000 yards and 25 touchdowns, 45.38 and 30 touchdowns, 45.75 and 30 touchdowns. This year, he's thrown for 46.29 and he's thrown for 37 touchdowns. And by the way, for the record, this guy's one of the most accurate guys there is. 72.4, 67.3, 68.1, 67.2, 67. I mean, he's one of the most accurate quarterbacks, and his touchdown to interception ratio is off the charts. He wins the Super Bowl. You're going to talk about him being a Hall of Fame candidate. I mean, who's more accomplished in the NFC? He is easily one of the most accomplished. He might be the second most accomplished quarterback, postseason-wise and yardage-wise, in football. Okay? In football. You missed what I said, Akbar. 2 conference championship games. 2 conference championship wins. 3 appearances. And a Super Bowl win. And when he's retired, he'll retire with about 60,000 passing yards. I don't know. I mean, what's not to like about his postseason? And he's got another How many Pro Bowls does this guy have now in his career? Dude, I'm telling you, Jared Goff has put together a hell of a resume. He's put together a hell of a resume. And if he closes it out and he wins, here. Okay, he's got 5 Pro Bowls. He's got 2 conference titles. He's led the NFL in passing attempts, completion percentage. This guy's top 5 in every single statistic and category there is. Okay. Hey, Xander, if I missed a super, please let me know. Okay. Kansas City. You know what Mahomes is playing against? History. History. If Patrick Mahomes closes the deal and wins a 3rd Super Bowl, it'll be the greatest accomplishment by a quarterback in NFL history during the Super Bowl era. No quarterback has ever won 3 in a row. And if that is something Tom Brady hasn't done, it must be grand, especially in the postseason. And it'll be his 4th. Bradshaw, Brady, and Montana are the only guys with 4 or more. It'll be the greatest accomplishment. No team, the Dolphin teams, the Bills teams, the Cowboy teams, the Patriot teams, nobody's won 3 in a row. Okay, nobody. And that puts a stamp on Andy Reid. That you could make the argument he's right there with Belichick. Josh Allen has to have a Super Bowl to validate that talent. He is arguably the most talented quarterback, him and Lamar, in pro football. And he's got to validate it with the championship. I'm shocked Buffalo's where they are. Buffalo should be a 9-win team. They had $70 million in the offseason cap casualties that they had to get rid of because they were over the cap so much. I can't believe they're where they are with the amount of wins they have. And they're in the 2-hole in the AFC. That just shows you the greatness of Allen. I cannot believe they're where they are. And here, some of you are saying Buffalo's probably going to lose. Buffalo could lose any week. If Allen doesn't have a superstar game, they lose. And sometimes even when he has a superstar game, they lose. They're just not good enough. Of all the football contending teams of these 5, Josh Allen has the worst roster of any of the quarterbacks. Allen has the worst roster. Hurts has the best roster. Okay? That's not an excuse. Those are facts. It's not an excuse. Okay? That's why I do not believe Josh Allen can win 4 in a row, because I just don't think he has a good enough team to do it. I think Josh Allen could throw for 450 yards and lose. And his defense give up 500 yards. I just don't think they can do it. Hit the like button. I appreciate you guys coming aboard here, please. And by the way, like I said, all supers go to the top. I appreciate you guys. Yeah, I mean, look, this postseason is all on Hurts. Jalen Hurts will be defined by this offseason or postseason. He'll be defined by it. He won't escape it. He'll be defined. He enters the postseason 2-3, having made the Super Bowl and had a great Super Bowl game. A divisional game and conference title game, underwhelming. The first year starting was against Brady and the Bucs. It's what it is. A rookie starting. You know, not everybody's Jordan Love or CJ Stroud like a year ago. Not everybody's like that. I get it. When you had announcers like Troy Aikman screaming at him, the guy's wide open, throw it. Okay? So I don't really kill him so much for losing to Tampa. They won a Super Bowl, I think, that year. Okay? But Jalen's got big pressure. Because everything that I've talked about and brought up, M. Reyes is going to have a tough day. And all of you will have a tough day. In a very tough offseason. Either you are or I am. See, Nick, that's called pushing all your chips in. Not playing it safe. I don't play it safe. Okay? I don't. Seals, you were wrong. I know. I know. I'm man enough to take it. Will you be? Single elimination. Let's get it on. God dang. Just like Marvin says, let's get it on. Woo! Yeah, let's get it on. Come on, baby. Give me some of that love. Let's get it on. Let's get it on. I'm not talking to you, Red Bottoms. Who don't like Marvin Gaye? If you don't like Marvin Gaye, get the fuck off this show. Okay? Get that guy off the show. If you don't like Marvin Gaye, get out. I will never speak to you again if you don't like Marvin Gaye. Let's get it on. Yeah. Let's get it on. You. Let's get it on. Yes, sir, baby. One Super Bowl Sills. Come on now. Right? Yeah. Oh. Oh, man. Hey, M. Reyes. You don't get mulligans here. That's why I like John McMullen and Xander kind of like, not Xander so much, but John, Minnesota. I'm like, I don't know. I'd rather get the shit kicked out of me in the final game of the year than in the playoffs. That's New York, what they did with that ass kicking in New England. It got them in a Super Bowl and beat them. We love Marvin. Just don't sing them. Let's get it on. That's the theme this week. Let's get it on. Yeah. Sugar. Yes, sir, baby. Let's get it on. Seals, hey, Flexion. Seals, you can't read or sing. Love you, Fatty. Fatty. Hey, Flexion. I know that Big Seals has put some weight on here over the last 35 years. Do you understand that at one time, this physique that's been lost, like the land of the lost, my old body, when they dig it up one day, when they dig it up, this guy was 285 pounds with 11% body fat. How's that possible? I don't know. I have no idea. That guy ran 4.8s also? Yeah. That guy benched 605? Yeah. That guy had a 28 vertical? Yeah. All that. My daughter goes online and takes a look. She goes, I can't believe that's you. I go, I know. I limp now. Okay? I limp now. Yes. Oh. Hey, I saw Demi at the Golden Globes. She looked tight. Yeah, 28 vertical. By the way, Big C. If you would like receipts, Big Sills will post it. The Miami Herald posted my 28 vertical at 290 pounds. How you doing? There was a time when Big Sills could slam dunk a Nerf ball. I couldn't get my hand around the basketball. I could palm it, but not get it up there and slam it. But I used to slam dunk a Nerf ball. Hey, get it on you, baby. Let's get it on. Yeah. Sugar. Let's get it on. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready? Let's see here. Sometimes I could just bring it up. How you doing? Thank you, Sue. Yeah, sometimes I can. I'm trying. Hey, by the way, I'm trying to get a hold of Eric Allen for you. Okay, here it is. Here, I'll post this for you. Miami defensive standout. Oh, it was 27 vertical. Damn. At 290 pounds. Yeah, shit. Save to phone. And if you want to see the Miami Herald article, I think I was 20 years old when I did this. So I'm going to post it for you to go over and see. The Herald wrote it. And there's 3 people in here who called me a liar, and I always hate that. And I love having receipts. Big Sills, and I'll just post it this way. JAKIB, Big Sills, 27 vertical. Is that cool? And I'll put Miami Herald because it's their story. There we go. Bang. These are for all the liars. It's now posted, so you can go over to my X account at Dan Sileo Show. How you doing? 27 vertical, 290 fucking pounds, 4.840. How you doing? Liar? All you got to do is go over there and take a look at it. I was the strongest player on the Miami Hurricane team that won the national championship, which meant I was the most athletic. Let's get it on. Sugar. Let's get it on. Stop glazing yourself. You got the wrong guy. Well, hey, how could I be a liar if I just posted it? How in the world could I be a liar if I just posted it? How in the world could I be a liar if I just posted this? Sileo, you're lying. I guess the Miami Herald's lying then too, right? Sileo's lying. Here it is right here. This was talking about my career being in jeopardy because I graduated. Let's see here. I was 292. Sileo launched his 292 pounds, 27 straight up from a standing start. His bench press, I stopped at 500. I hurt myself that season. He's the team's best power component on the team that year. That's a team with Michael Irvin. That's a team with Russell Maryland. That's a team with Cortez Kennedy. I was the best athlete on the team that year. How you doing? Now, So, Flex, this goes back to you calling me fatty. Okay? How you doing? It's there for you to take a look at. And you guys can all marvel. Big Sills was an athlete? Yeah. Long time ago, I was an athlete. Hit that damn like button there. All right. Top 10 is here. We always do this. This is the final one, though. Okay? This is the final. Hey, Flexin, thank you very much for making Sills have to go back in the past and find something that people would never believe. Do you understand what a 27 vertical is at 300 pounds? Guys in the draft today didn't do that. Find out what Jordan Davis did. I'll bet you mine's a better. He ran faster than me. He did. He ran faster. I couldn't believe 4.78 at that size and height. Okay? That's what makes him crazy. Okay? Oh, I was 27. I thought I had a 28. Playoff prediction. Philly beats Green Bay. Tampa Bay beats Minnesota. Oh, no. Tampa Bay wins. Minnesota beats LA. Philly beats Minnesota. Tampa Bay beats Detroit. The NFC Championship game is Philadelphia versus the Bucs. You better hope that don't happen because the Bucs own you. The Bucs own you. You better hope that ain't the case. The Tampa Bay. You better hope. Yes, sir, baby. Lions coach Dan Campbell said that David Montgomery will be ready for the divisional round. Woo! Okay? Woo! How you doing? Holy cow. We're going to get to the coordinators here in a second. I love when Vic Fangio speaks. I really do. I love when he talks. Okay? We would play Bucs in the divisional. Their team. We can't get the Bucs in the title game. He's correct. Because seeding, the top seeds get that. That's right. Not this time, Big Sills. Not this time. There you go. Look at this. M. Reyes. Bucs are dead meat. Fucking beat them. Receipts. I have receipts. Receipts. Where's Vic? I love listening to Vic Fangio. Here we go. Here's Vic. Let's get to Vic and Kellen today. By the way, new topic before we read this. Uh-oh. We have a problem, Philly. We have a problem for this. What's the biggest problem you think you have heading into Sunday's game against Green Bay? What do you think your biggest problem is heading into Sunday's game? Ooh, wow. D. What do you mean, D, by coaching? I like that Jake Elliott one. Pass rush is good. Look at you guys. Kicker, quarterback, slow starts. Fucking great. You guys are ready, man. Honest to God, all kidding aside, you're ready. Concussed. Slow start hurts. Coaching. Quarterback guy's a great play caller. LaFleur, he is. Passing game. Guys. Hey, D. Follow up what you mean by coaching. Ooh. Where did I see that? Distraction? I don't know about you, but if Fox News called me and told me they were going to put me on after Hannity or before Hannity, I'd be like this. I'd be showing up the next day going, wow, really? Really? Or if I was getting a network television show, okay, I'd be like, let's just put you in this. Whatever profession you're in, think of the grandest job you could possibly have in your profession. You wouldn't be distracted? Something that you've worked your entire life for? You were fired twice in the previous 2 stops? And now there's also a rumor that he's going to be interviewed by the Chicago Bears. I wouldn't be shocked if the Jags reached out to him. So right now it's just Saints, but I think the Bears are. So you're going to have Saints and Bears interviewing Kellen Moore. I'm not saying it's not normal. Last time you had a coach and coaches interview for jobs, one guy forgot the main job he was doing while he was coaching your defense. Is it a distraction? Not in Philly. Well, it was in 22. Why wouldn't it be now? Are you suggesting that you don't think if a guy was offered an opportunity and a serious candidate to become the head football coach of the New Orleans Saints, that you're not thinking about that job with your family? $10 million a year, generational wealth, something you aspired to be since you came into the league as a coach? I don't fucking know what you're talking about. Oh, because we're the Eagles, he won't think about that. What do you, human nature, my friends. Human nature. Now you got another distract. Boy, I'll tell you, man, Philadelphia gives you the juice. I thought you guys were boring. No way. There's always something new. Okay? There's always something new. So wait a minute here. Watch this. I'm going to show you what a guy does when he's being pursued as a head coach. Okay? Boy, I'll tell you what. Kellen Moore in New Orleans with Alvin Kamara. They'd probably get a different quarterback in the room. A drop back guy. They're not getting a dual threat. He ain't coaching that style of foot. Hey, by the way, you think if Kellen Moore gets a head coaching job somewhere, you think he's going to get somebody like Hurts? Fucking no way. No way. He might even trade for Tanner McKee. He might even trade for him. Hey, get this. So this is what you're doing. Yeah, let's see if we can run this play against Green Bay and that banjo coverage that they have. Yeah. Let's see if we can do. What do you think? You know. Yeah. Let's see if we can do that. Wayne Larrivee will join us at 3:30. The voice of the Green Bay Packers will join us. And we'll see. Oh, hang on. I got to get this. It's the Saints and Mickey Loomis. Hey, Mickey, how you doing? Know Mickey well, by the way. Good friend. Love him. Yeah. What are you doing? I'm game planning right now for the Packers. Can an interview? Well, it would have to be Zoom. Yeah, okay. I'll take a little time away from here. You know, as soon as we get done with this, I'll do a Zoom call with you. Is that cool? Yeah. Yeah, wait a minute. I got a meeting after. Just that time right there, you're wasting time. Just that little bit of time right there, you're wasting. Woo! Another dynamic to have to worry about. Okay? NFL, as usual, always horrible operation decisions. I hate it too, T. I fucking hate that you get a chance to talk to assistant coaches during the playoffs and while the playoffs are going on. I find that to be completely inappropriate. And you know why it's inappropriate? It's inappropriate because you've got players in the room that are going for a world championship. And you got coaches that get the ability to be distracted with something that has no bearing on them in the room and your ultimate achievement. Him being interviewed for the Saints job, and I'm not saying Kellen's doing this, and I do think it's an NFL bullshit move, and I hate it. I totally hate it. I do. Hey, man, guess what I would be doing? If I were the Dallas Cowboys, I would try to interview Kellen Moore to be the head coach. Why? A division opponent? I'd like to fucking distract the Eagles. If I was the New York Giants, if they had fired Brian Daboll, I would be going after Kellen Moore. I would be doing as much as I possibly could to distract the Eagles in winning a Super Bowl. What do you think? These guys are all like rooting for Kellen to win the Super Bowl? They might be rooting for Kellen. They're not rooting for the Eagles. Okay? Our starters ready for this first round playoff. Dean and Bond. It's a good question. I think you got, and without no Brandon Graham out there, again, first, Dean's been in the game, though, a little bit, and he's been around these guys. So being in the playoffs is not going to be an uncommon place for him. Okay? Right? All I'm saying is this, guys, am I worried about Kellen Moore being distracted? Here's why I'm worried about his idle time being distracted. You know what I'm saying? If you're sitting here doing something, and how many times have you taken phone calls while you're in the middle of doing something very important and you forget your train of thought? Right? You're sitting there thinking about something, you're writing something down, you're putting a letter down, you're writing your resume. Shit, man. Writing a phone call can distract you on just writing your resume out. What do you think that does if you're sitting there and you're having a conversation about potentially being the head football coach of a football team that's not the Eagles? Do I think they bench Hurts if he plays terrible? No. I do not think that. Dude, guys, stop with this Tanner McKee shit. He's a good-looking prospect. He's a prospect. Don't go there. I'm not. Hey, I had a lot of fun with it on Sunday and Monday, but don't go there. This guy's not under any short leash or what have you. It's his ball game. You are tied to Jalen Hurts no matter what. He has a no trade. And you got 3 more years of massive cap casualty if you fucking decide to try to do something. So don't go crazy. This is your guy. 2903, 18 touchdowns. This is your dude for the next 3 years. I don't care how many Tanner McKees you end up drafting. It doesn't matter. You can't trade him. Do you understand? Jalen Hurts is untradeable. You know why? He controls his own fate. We want to see if we hypothetically say he starts shit in the bed like Carson Wentz. Tough shit. Tough shit, Philly fan. You pay him and you keep him. Or you cut him and you owe him all that money. This thing's got to work. Pat goes, he's not tradable yet. Who said he was? You're 14-3. Who fucking said? I never said that. But I see people with this. You think, Sills, do you think he's on it? No. Do I think it's 10 out of 10 now? And by the way, The problem that you get in here, though, when we see people in here, you say a guy played great and he's a quarterback. All these Hurts guys go, well, not all it is glazing over Tanner McKee. What do you fucking care? Jalen Hurts is here for the next 3 years, no matter what. If he sucks, if he's a Hall of Fame, no matter what. No matter if Joe Montana comes out of retirement or Tom Brady comes out of retirement. Doesn't matter. He's going nowhere. You've never heard me say trade Hurts, have you? You know why? Because it's not a reality. I'm going to play Tanner. Tanner looks already better. Fucking, what's the point? There is no point. You don't have one. The conversation will then go to, did we pay him too soon? And that other shit that I've been saying, yeah. That's why I'm saying this. LFG, baby. This offseason and preseason and the postseason are all going to define him. This 1 year, he's either going to validate what he's done, and I'll say it one more time to you also. Okay? Jalen Hurts has been pulled before on a good team. Alabama was just the only team that could do it. Philly can't. She'll say, I'm worried about the passing because Moore is not the guy for Jalen. They both have benefited from Barkley. Is that the domino that hurts the Eagles? I don't know yet, man. We got to see this play Sunday. Remember something, Jalen? What were Jalen's numbers in that first Green Bay game? I thought he threw for 262, if I'm not mistaken. And I think if it were 380 or 280 or something, but he had 2 turnovers in the ball game. I forget what the line was. I thought it was 2 TDs and 2 turnovers in the ball game. Get this. This guy, elite. How's the guy elite with 2,900 passing yards? Shit, a guy at St. Joe's Prep had 20. I bet you a guy this. Hey, do me a favor, Xander. Xander, I may have missed a super. Hey, do me a favor, somebody. Find out what the passing numbers were at St. Joe's Prep in Philly. And tell me if he had more than 2,903 this year. I'd be interested in that. If he had more than 2,903. Okay? Elite. 2,903 in 14 games. Oh, okay. Doesn't matter. Thought he was going to go for 4,600 yards and not in that. Sills, why does it matter if Kellen is being offered a job when we have one of the worst passing offenses in the league? I'd like to keep Kellen for consistency, but he could leave. Here's why, Abe. Here's what Kellen Moore did that is attractive. He knew the quarterback wasn't good enough, so he adapted on the fly with the personnel that's in the huddle. And if I'm a owner and I'm a general manager, that's exactly how I looked at his season. Kellen Moore had a great year. Hurts had the bad year. Kellen won 14 ball games. An offensive coordinator's job is to win games, not fucking put stats in the board. That's a coordinator's job. And he did his job. He found the best guy in the huddle to win him games, and he went with Barkley. I have my theory. What is yours? Most critical area for Hurts to improve is spreading the ball around. Do you think he can greatly improve in the next 3 years? No. No, I do not. I don't think he has a skill set for that. I think he struggles in the pocket. I think he has horrible pocket presence, hence the sacks. He took more sacks this year instead of turnovers, which probably is the lesser of the evil. 38 sacks. Get this, M. Reyes, he had 38 sacks in 14 games. How many sacks this year did Josh Allen take on his team? And there's a one-man wrecking crew. Just curious. Let me just take a look at that. Dual threat guy. I'll take a look at Lamar, too. So here are the guys who had the most sacks this year. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. Where's Jalen? Jalen Hurts was 11th. 15 games, 14 games if you want to go there. He had 38 sacks and 361 attempts. By far one of the worst ratios. I mean, check this out. Joe Burrow threw the ball 652 times and had 48 sacks. And where's Josh Allen? Here, let's take a look at Lamar. Where's Lamar in sacks? Wow. Lamar Jackson threw the ball 474 times, had 23 sacks. Let's see Josh Allen. Josh Allen threw the ball almost 500 times, 483, had 14 sacks. Josh Allen by far has way more pocket presence and understands the pocket. And even to that extent, Lamar does. He gets it. Hurts is terrible in the pocket. He holds the ball too long. He doesn't see open receivers. He struggles in there, and he takes off running right. It's a standard operating procedure and how limited he is. He has an intangible. Here's my scouting and being honest. What do you like about Hurts? Let's do that. He's a great athlete. He's got a great desire to win. He never gives up. He could have 17 bad plays and then one play will win the game. And that's an innate thing you can't coach in a player. There's guys that will, like Dak, fold. They'll make 17 plays in the 18th play to win the game. He won't. That's something that he does have that is attractive. Okay? It is. He's tough. He's a great runner. Okay? He's one of the better runners. And I would say this too. He's one of the best RPO quarterbacks I've ever seen in his decision-making when he's in that RPO. I think he does a great job running that RPO. He has a clutch gene, if that's what that's called, sure. But he's got an innate ability. He can make 5 bad plays, and he's going to hang in there. How about this? He doesn't get defeated mentally like Wentz did. He does not get defeated. Okay? Here's the poor things. He's terrible pocket presence. He's not very accurate. He's accurate enough. The deep passing game doesn't win Super Bowls. So whatever, he's got a strong arm. I heard Phil Simms. Okay. I guess that matters. He's very predictable. He's going to roll right always because he feels more comfortable athletically rolling right. He's a relentless competitor. Yeah. That's what I kind of just said. But at the end of the day, when it comes to his pocket being a pocket passer, he's one of the more limited guys in the league. Like, he's the worst quarterback of anybody in the playoffs of any of the teams that have made the playoffs. Maybe he's better than Russell. Right now, he's probably better than Russell Wilson as a pocket passer. Okay? Wilson's on the back nine now. Early Russell Wilson, he was spectacular. When he had Marshawn Lynch. You know, as much as Xander and I love Najee Harris, that ain't Marshawn Lynch. Okay? I mean, just talking about, his ability in the pocket. Think about that. Josh Allen had almost 500 attempts and passes, had 14 sacks. This guy played in 3 less games, and he had almost 160 less attempts. And he took 3 times as many sacks. What's that tell you? Not very good in the pocket. That's kind of what he is. The Eagles' offense is a Lamborghini. They have an 8-year-old behind the wheel. He drives it fast. It can go from A to B. but it's hitting all the cars parked on the side of the road along the way. That's not quite true, but I get your reference, and I get what you mean. I don't know why I felt early on his passing was not as bad. Get this, and I'll explain to this, Khalid, at all. And he got good moon balls and was pretty pinpoint in the throws. I don't know what made him regress. What made him regress is that people started getting tape on him and started seeing but let me ask you something here. Like today, let me show you what Vic Fangio said about guys. Or Nick said about Vic. He was asked the other day about Vic Fangio, and he said this. He goes, Vic sits there, breaks down game film, and he looks 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 and he looks. Look at this. Daz goes, he looked great in the Steeler game. He looked great in the Super Bowl. He didn't look good in the playoffs that year. And he didn't look good this year. Okay. Tanner McKee looked good in the Giant game with backups. Okay. I mean, by the way, the numbers dictate it. And everybody in Philly has an excuse for his numbers being down. You know what it is? Saquon took it away from him. That's not true. They run the ball in Detroit. They run the ball in Baltimore. They run the ball in Green Bay. There's no excuses there. They spread the ball around. Only place they don't spread the ball around is Philly. And you paid two guys to spread the ball around too. But you'll make an excuse that it was Barkley's fault that Jalen's numbers and the passing game are down this year. That's asinine. That's ridiculous. By the way, Wayne Larrivee, the voice of the Packers, is going to join us. That'll be at the bottom of the hour. Packers on Sunday. Should be a pretty damn good football game. I think it's going to be a better game than what you guys think. Okay? Hey, wait a minute here. Let me see what Anthony. I've never seen a guy who has won 50 games in 4 years take as much crap. Anthony, did I say something that's not true? He's not good in the pocket. He takes a ton of sacks. He's not a prolific passer. The passing game has regressed. What am I saying that's wrong? I'm not sure. Hey, by the way, Jimmy Garoppolo took a ton of shit, and people said he was a product of the system. Oh, I see. That doesn't pertain to him, though, Hurts. That he's a product of the roster. Let me see what Jimmy Garoppolo's record was in San Francisco when everyone was calling him, and like you guys say, Brock Purdy. Let's do Brock Purdy. Let me ask you guys this question. Let me ask you guys this about Brock Purdy. You think Brock Purdy could go somewhere else and do the things that Brock Purdy's done? Pretty much has done early in his career, the same length of time, because you guys don't want to put Jalen Hurts next to Jared Goff because their golf has been in the league more. Let's do Brock Purdy. Do you think Brock Purdy could go to the Giants and do what he did in New York, do what he did in San Francisco? Do you think he could do that in New York? Brock Purdy had a pretty good year. No? What do you mean no? According to Anthony, wait a minute here. According to Anthony, Jalen Hurts takes a lot of shit for winning a lot of games. Well, let's take a look at this, what Brock Purdy's done in his short time. Brock Purdy's record. Brock Purdy is 23-13. He is 4-2 in the playoffs. This year, he threw for 3,800 yards, 20 touchdowns, 66 completion percentage. Didn't have a great year. He's 23-13. Jeez. I've never seen a guy take more shit in my life. For a guy that wins, won an NFC championship, actually done more than Hurts in his early career. He's played in 2 conference title games. Albeit he got knocked out third play. Is he not a product of the wins there in San Francisco? Or is it just Hurts? What's different? See, Anthony thinks that because Hurts has won these games, he's the reason they've won the game. He's not the reason they've won the games. The roster's the reason they've won the games. He's a good fit for what they have done with the roster. That's what he is. Here, I'll give you another example. I'll do Brock Purdy here in a minute. Assessment of Hurts was perfect. Bird's unlikely to win a Super Bowl. Anything is possible. Absolutely, especially with the run game. Many intangibles, injuries. Absolutely, all of that is true. Also, four powerhouse teams. Remember the 93 Bills? Absolutely, no question. So let's take a look at Garoppolo. To Anthony's point. I go to Jimmy Garoppolo. Don't forget, Wayne Larravee's going to join us. Here's Jimmy Garoppolo. Let's see what, to Anthony's point. And was Garoppolo, let's see, he won an NFC title, got to a Super Bowl. Let's see what his record was. Okay. So in 6 years, Anthony, 6 years, Jimmy Garoppolo's record was 38-17. Taking a team to a Super Bowl. Won an NFC title. He ends up leaving. He's 2-0 in New England. That was before. 3-3 with the Raiders. Now he's a backup with the Rams. What happened? Was he a product of the San Francisco system? How come Jimmy Garoppolo is not the quarterback? Was he a product of San Francisco? Yeah. So when you talk about Hurts winning, I could bring up numerous guys that have won and has done the same pretty much things that Hurts has done. He got an NFC title. Purdy's got an NFC title. But if you put those guys on different ball clubs, are they going to do the same thing? No. Only the great. Look at Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson thought he was going to beat Tom Brady and go to Denver. It was a shit show. Aaron Rodgers thought he was just going to pick up in Green Bay and, even albeit he's 41, and go to New York. Well, that don't work. Not everybody's Tom Brady. That ain't going to work like that. They build a system around you with the team around you in mind. Jalen Hurts goes to Chicago. He's no better than Justin Fields. It's a good point about Mayfield. Look at Angelo here on Mayfield. How would you feel if the Eagles bring in Doug as an associate in a playoff run? That would never happen. They don't want to do any of that. Angelo brings up an absolutely fabulous point. Angelo, let me ask you this. Do you think Cleveland would like to have Baker Mayfield back? Cleveland quit on him. Do you think Carolina would like to have Mayfield back? Do you think, maybe not the Rams, they're good with Stafford. What did I just name to you? All shitty franchises who don't know how to develop quarterbacks. Did you see that the offensive coordinator for the Buccaneers is now being interviewed for, I think, the Jags job? Do you understand? You want to hear something? That's the first year he's been a coordinator. Did you hear what I said? Kellen Moore has been a coordinator how many years? The first year offensive coordinator who took over for Dave Canales. He's never been a coordinator in his life. He's interviewing for the Jags job. I think it's Xander at 3:30. And then we're going to get Wayne at 4:30. So I'm backwards here a little bit here. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit that like button here. O-line didn't trust Hurts in the pocket. That's not what that is. They were getting killed because he needed 6 seconds before letting go of the ball and then turning it over. So the coach told him to run. Well, here, listen. when you have a dual threat guy, those are the hardest guys in the world to block for. Do you know why that O-line played so well against the Giants this past weekend? You know exactly where Tanner McKee is. You know exactly. He's in the pocket, 6 steps. He's not getting out of there. They're easier to block for because you know where he is. Okay? You know where he is. In the pocket. Yeah, Xander's going to join us here in a couple seconds here. And then Wayne Larrivee at 4:30 Eastern. My bad. We'll get into what Vic had a conversation of. And hey, listen, how good do I feel going into this weekend versus the Packers? I'll let you know here in a second. Okay? I do. So hopefully Wednesday comes around and we find out a little bit more about Jalen Hurts. And by the way, I don't really need to know anything. He's playing Sunday. I'm with John. It's stupid shit right now. It's just like dumb gamesmanship. Well, I don't know. I'm not going to tell you anything. Why not? Just go like this. He's going to, hey, what are you afraid of? You really think that's gamesmanship with Green Bay? You think Matt LaFleur and those guys are not preparing for Jalen Hurts? Come on, man. Stupid shit. All right. Without further ado, here we are, baby. Red Stew. LFG. I'm either going to be right or wrong. Okay? Hey, come on. Big Sills puts his ass on the line. You know what? Some broadcasters like to straddle that fence. I ain't talking about my boy. But a lot of people like to sit on that fence. You know what happens when you sit on the fence? Hey! End up getting the couillons ruined. All right. Co-host of Birds 365. What a weekend this baby's going to be. He is the one and only Big Z, Xander Kraus.
What's up, Big Sills?
How you doing and how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good, brother. Good first hour and a half of the show. It was a good one. You're on fire today, Big Sills.
Tell me what you're feeling, man, heading into this ball. By the way, you ain't buying any of this bullshit. The kid's playing Sunday. Come on.
Yeah, no, I'm not buying any of the bullshit. Mostly because John McMullen tells me I'm not allowed to buy any of the bullshit. He's going to play. They manipulated it for a couple weeks. Do I agree with that strategy? No, I don't. I would have rather have gotten my quarterback out of the protocol and getting some reps in practice before the playoff game, but they went about it a different way. He will play, though, in this game. I'm a little concerned on Rust a little bit, but not over the top. I think he'll be all right. Should probably shake it off pretty quickly. I'm feeling pretty good, though. I mean, I just listened to a clip of Brian Baldinger, who we've had on the show many times before. He's predicting 4-0. Eagles go 4-0 in the playoffs and raise the Lombardi for a parade down Broad Street. Now, I don't know why Baldy thinks that, but just listening to the clip got me a little bit fired up. I'm not going to lie to you.
I'm going to have to get Baldy on then. I'm going to see if I can get his ass on tomorrow. The reason I keep checking my phone is because Eric Allen has radio responsibilities. What'd you think of that clip he sent me? Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah,
his family taped that thing here and him lighting the torch this past week, and that was pretty dope.
Yeah, really dope. Really dope. I like that you guys are getting closer. He's a legendary Eagle right there. So
absolutely, man. Hey, all right, Xander, are you a little concerned? Excuse me, wait a minute. Yeah, WIP, what? Hold on, Xander. Hang up for a minute. You want an interview? If you could do me a favor, I'll be done at around 6 Eastern. Yeah. Hold on, Xander. I'll be right there with you. Yeah, I'll do a Zoom. We'll be ready to go. You good? No. I'm ready to. Oh, Xander, I'll be right there. Hang on, Krauses, who have absolutely saved my career. Hang on. Okay, I'll be right there. I'll talk to you at 6. Thank you, guys.
Good skit.
Oh, here we're back now.
I hate it, though. I hate that the NFL lets this happen. Don't you?
Yo,
the whole interview process.
I don't hate it for Kellen. I hate it for the players, and I hate it for the organization. Dude, you just packed in the Saquon Barkley get this. Here's what I hate about it. You ready? You fucking told Saquon Barkley he couldn't go for an all-time record, and you're letting a position coach interview during the week when you're going to play the Packers, and you're telling me you're focused? That's fucking bullshit that you're doing that. That's absolute bullshit.
Yeah, but
so
it's
you're
not
telling
Kellen's
me
fault.
you're rewarding Kellen more for his work this year that Saquon Barkley did, but Barkley couldn't sign it off and put a bow on it with 2106. Bullshit.
Are you still crying about the record?
No, I'm crying about the way they do business.
Well, that's the way they do business. What do you want me to say? I mean, it sucks that they're interviewing, but it is what it is, man. I think it's going to be a low-key factor in the NFC playoffs. How many calls is Dan Campbell and Aaron Glenn going to get?
Oh, tons.
They're going to get every call. Every team that wants a coach is going to ask to interview those guys. You know, think back to 22 when we were dealing with that with Gannon and Steichen and all that crap and Jonathan Gannon. I'm not effing leaving from his G-Wagon, and then he leaves. Then like a couple days
house hunting in Scottsdale.
Yeah, I mean, come on. So I'm used to that. We have history of that here in Philadelphia. So I hate the whole interview process. But what are you gonna do? I mean, these dudes want head coaching jobs, man. That's the pinnacle. So they're all gonna go for them. And I get your point about the record, but I'm over it. I'm so over the record. Honestly, I've talked about it enough.
Oh boy, I'll tell you what. Big Sil's got receipts here. Hey, Xander, I'm either gonna be right or I'm going to be wrong. That's how I love to do my show. Ain't no bell curve. Either right or I'm going to be wrong. How you doing? We're going to find out. It's a single elimination game.
That's what makes your show great.
By the way, I just saw something here, which was really cool too. Okay? Let me say this to you here. So, you know, you see all the odds. The Lions are favored to win the Super Bowl. The Ravens are 2. I was shocked, ESPN. Then you got the Chiefs up there. The Eagles are the 5th favorite team to win the Super Bowl. Let me think.
That's about right.
Lamar Jackson. Really? You think do you think Kansas City has a better roster than Philadelphia?
I know where you're going with this.
Do you?
No, I do not.
You beat the Ravens, didn't you? Didn't you beat the pants off them?
We beat them pretty good.
Oh, they're favored over you. I mean, you think the Bills have a better roster than you?
No, they definitely don't. They're not. They might have the worst roster of all the top 5.
Here's the most important one. Do you think that the Lions have a better roster than you?
I think they're comparable, but not with all these injuries.
No, right.
Eagles have all 22 for week 1 starters available. Assuming Jalen Hurts is back.
That's so insane. That
so
2 to 3 years.
Anybody who's in the chat or anybody who's listening, or even you, Big Sills, who's going to give them shit about the whole and I was there too. I'd rather them be a little bit hard-nosed, but they ain't changing shit, because this is 2 of the last 3 years that they're going into the playoffs with all 22 starters available. Remember the Super Bowl year, 22, we had all 22 starters available for that game as well. So they're not changing anything about their approach to keeping players healthy. There's no doubt about that.
I surely hope they win it.
Yeah.
I really hope they win
Good
it.
enough results now for me to not care anymore.
Okay, all right. I got you there. So what's the one common denominator that the reason that the Birds, I think the Birds are probably the 2nd favorite next to Detroit. And then I would put Kansas City 3rd. And Buffalo and Baltimore at the end of that. I wouldn't put them ahead of them. They've already kicked the shit
What's
out
the
of
top 5?
What?
What's the top 5? Wait, let me guess. Lions 1, Chiefs 2.
Here, I'll tell you. This is the ESPN index. It's the ESPN index that they had and they released for the postseason.
I think somebody tagged me in it. I didn't see it yet.
And again, by the way, Merrill Reese is on tomorrow with us too. I just want you guys to know that he's going to be on tomorrow. And today at 4:30, I got it backwards. It's Wayne Larrivee Okay, here it is. Detroit, 25.8% according to ESPN Power Index. Baltimore, second at 13.8. Kansas City's third at 12.3. Buffalo's fourth at 9.7. And Philadelphia comes rolling in at 8.4. Well, let me think. Golf, Lamar, Mahomes, Allen, Hurts. What doesn't fit? What doesn't fit?
There's definitely more questions nationally, and the public perception of the team is there's definitely more questions about our quarterback from those people than, or even I think just in general from Vegas, from all the people with money, from any way you look at it, than there is about those quarterbacks. I mean, Josh Allen's never been to a Super Bowl, so I get he's a great talent, but he's never proven it to me. Same with Lamar Jackson, who's the greatest October player you'll ever see in the history of the world, and then he just doesn't do that when you need to do that. Jared Goff has the benefit of a perfect system with a perfect offensive coordinator. I'm not taking anything away from him. I think he executes that system flawlessly, but I don't think he's this major talent guy. I mean, he's super accurate, but I don't know. I mean, I don't think that's that big of a deal to me. I see what you're saying, though. The Eagles are fifth because of their quarterback versus the other teams are first, second, third, and fourth because of their quarterback.
I would say this to you. If I was going to rank rosters, Eagles 1, Lions 2, Kansas City 3, Baltimore 4, and Buffalo 5. Those would be my 5 rosters. Funny how they're not looking at it as the best teams because the quarterbacks separated.
We should do a power ranking of the quarterbacks in the playoffs is what we really should do.
Bo Nix and Jalen will have a tough time battling that last spot. Hey, by the way,
wait, really? You think Jalen would be the bottom?
No. I think he's probably 7 or 8, somewhere there.
Wait, let's real quick on the fly. Let's entertain this for a second. All right, wait a
minute. Bob Brown said, "What? Who's Sills kidding? Eagles win the Super Bowl. We'll hear. Yeah, I was wrong. I said you'd lose. You had the best roster in football, so you should have won. How you doing?"
All right,
Bob.
You got ready? You got in the AFC. You got Mahomes, Allen.
Hold on, let me bring this bitch up here. Let me bring up the schedule here.
Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, Stroud, Herbert, Russell Wilson, Bo Nix. And in the NFC, you got Jared Goff, Jalen Hurts, Baker Mayfield, Matthew Stafford, Sam Darnold, Jaden Daniels, and Jordan Love.
So you want me
I don't like the sound of this already.
Hey,
I don't like the sound of this already.
Oh, I love it. I know
you love it.
Here we go.
I'm already my brain is firing on who's going to be where, and it's not looking good right now.
Okay. So Xander wanted to rank.
Let's do it. I'm going to do it. I mean, I said I'll do it. I'll do it.
Hold on here. Let me see. Well, Mahomes is 1.
Mahomes is 1.
I got Allen 2.
Me too. And then Lamar. Raiders just fired Antonio Pierce, by the way.
I just saw that.
I don't know why they wait. Why wait till Tuesday for the guy? Just fire him on Monday, like everybody else.
Isn't it the same teams doing the same shit every year?
It really is. How about that dumbass owner from the Jaguars saying that with his GM on the line? I mean,
and how do you keep Trent Baalke? He fucking
stinks.
I mean, how do you?
And then the Titans fire their GM after 2 years. And keep that coach who hasn't done anything. Like some of these teams are just, they make these decisions and you're like, oh God. All right, 1 Mahomes, even though he's not the number 1 quarterback this year, I'd probably put Allen as the best quarterback.
Yeah, but we're talking postseason.
Yeah, we're talking postseason. This is a different animal. I'm going Mahomes, Allen, because he always plays good in the postseason. They don't win because they're playing up against the Chiefs, but Allen always plays damn good. Lamar is not the greatest postseason quarterback I've ever seen. In fact,
he did get to the AFC title game last year. He did get to the AFC title game last year.
Lamar.
Okay, so 4.
I'm gonna go.
I'm gonna go Stafford.
I'm going to go Jared Goff. I like Jared Goff a lot.
Oh, shit. I'll go golf.
I'm going to go Goff, and then I'm going to go Stafford.
Me too. That's it.
And then I'm going to go
6.
I might go Herbert. Is that too high?
No way. I'm going to go Mayfield.
See, I like Mayfield maybe a little bit better.
I'm going to go Mayfield and then Herbert.
Okay, I like that. That's probably me too.
And 8, I'll go.
I'm going to go Darnold at 8.
Darnold at 8.
And I'm going to go Stafford at 9.
I got Stafford at 5.
Oh, yeah. I had Stafford higher too.
I got, let's see here.
Let me erase that.
Let's see here.
I'm going to go Jaden Daniels probably at 9.
You're going to put Jaden Daniels. That's okay. I like that. Jaden Daniels at 9.
Actually, no, I'm going Jalen Hurts after Darnold. I know. You know what? Fuck it. Scratch Darnold. I don't think Sam Darnold's a better playoff quarterback than Jalen Hurts. Stop with that shit. That was dumb by me. Jalen Hurts has performed amazingly in a Super Bowl game.
I'm talking about this.
Sam Darnold, the lights get bright in a fucking regular season Week 18 game, and the dude's throwing the ball all over the yard.
I'm talking about a guy who can actually throw the ball. So I'm taking it's.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
talking
all you care about.
I'm talking about 2024. I'm not talking about just one fucking game. I'm talking about So wait, Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, Goff, Stafford at 5, Mayfield
I'm
at 6,
revising my list.
Herbert at 7, Daniels at 8.
I'm revising my list.
Let me see here. Daniels at 9. I'm going to go Love at 10. I'll go Stroud at 11. I'll go Hurts at 12.
Stop.
Bo Nix.
Stop.
13. Who else is? Oh, yeah, Russell Wilson. I'll do Wilson for 14. So here's my list: 14 quarterbacks. Mahomes 1, Allen 2, Lamar 3. This is based off of this year too. Mahomes 1, Allen 2, Lamar 3, Goff 4, Stafford 5, Mayfield 6, Herbert 7, Daniels 8. Daniels 8. I've got Jordan Love. No. I've got Darnold 8. I got Daniels 9. I got Love 10. Stroud 11. Hurts 12. Bo Nix 13. And I got Wilson at 14. There's Big Sil's list.
That's a pretty good list.
Yeah. Hey, can you do me one last favor, too, before I hear your list? Make sure you give me the total of the numbers for the quarterback at St. Joe's Prep this year. I want to see if
fuck off.
I want to know. Hey, man, I just want to know if the guy at St. Joe's Prep had a better year.
Ready for my list?
God,
you're not going to like it. 1 Mahomes, 2 Allen, 3 Lamar, 4 Goff, 5 Hurts, 6 Stafford, 7 Mayfield, 8 Herbert, 9 Darnold, 10 Daniels, 11 Love, 12 Stroud, 13 Bo Nix, 14 Russ.
Oh, my God. Anytime somebody puts Jalen Hurts in the top 5, you just fucking go, what are you doing, guy? What are you doing? What are you doing? I'm like, what are you doing?
I've seen Jalen deliver in the playoffs, man, at a high level.
Yeah, he's 2-3, but hey, we'll see. He's played great in one game.
That's true. No, he played good in the 22 playoff games. He didn't have to do much in the conference championship, but he was the reason we got
40 yards in one of those games. He threw for like 110 yards in one of them.
Dude, we had like 3 touchdowns on the board in the first quarter versus the Giants because Jalen was going up and down the field. He started the game like 10 for 10.
Who was the MVP of the NFC title game?
MVP at when? 22?
Yeah.
Hassan Reddick.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Listen. All right. Let me get to. I want to do something else with you here. I want to go to the Packers here. Oh, wait. By the way, since we did that, it's the final top 10 of the year. I got the final top 10 quarterbacks. I got the MVP. I've got the rookie of the year. I sent that vote in, and I hate to tell people it's not going to be good for you.
Look at all the people crying. Hurts over Herbert is insanity.
Yeah, I know.
Even Herbert. Homer. William, fuck off.
Hey.
You called me a homer when I said predicted 14 wins, too, didn't you, William?
Here is the Big Sills top 10 NFL teams for the year. I got the Chiefs 1. I got the Lions 2. I got the Bills 3. I've got the Ravens 4. I've got the Eagles 5. I've got the Vikings 6. By the way, I think any of those top 5 teams can win the Super Bowl. After 5, I don't think so. And get this, if you want to go Eagles 3 and drop the Bills down, sure, okay.
Yeah,
I think any one of those top 5.
So you had what? Chiefs, Lions,
Chiefs,
Eagles,
Lions, Bills, Ravens, Eagles. Any one of those teams can win the Super Bowl, I believe.
Okay.
After that, you got Vikings, Commanders, Chargers, Rams, Bucks. I don't think any one of those teams.
I think the Vikings are toast. I think they're toast.
Okay, do you agree? There's 5 teams really in the league right now.
Dude, I think Sam Darnold's using NyQuil right now to fall asleep at night. He's still got the jitters from that Sunday night.
Make sure you guys are writing this down here. Okay? Make sure you guys are writing this down.
What, writing what down? That Darnold?
Because you're taking 60 minutes of a season like you took 60 minutes of a Steeler game and you started talking to me about some sort of crazy passing game the Eagles don't have.
No. You're right. I'm taking 60 minutes of a season. But what was the only game of the regular season this year for any team, any game that was played that felt like a playoff game?
Oh, totally. That
was it. That was the only game.
Like an NFC title.
Sammy
game.
Darnold turned to a freaking pumpkin. My guy was seeing ghosts everywhere out there. So
that guy, hey, listen, dude, that wasn't a playoff game. That had an NFC title game feeling to it.
It did. That was a damn good game.
Okay. Yeah, by the Lions here. That was
anticipation-wise and everything like that. Darnold didn't play well, but I like watching the Lions team. I think they're the best team in the NFL. But I'm giving Chiefs the number 1 because you're 15-2. They have the best coach. They figure out how to win every single game, it seems like. Doesn't matter how their quarterback plays. Doesn't matter who does what. They just figure out a way to win, unless they have Carson Wentz, obviously, playing, of course. Patrick Mahomes is the great equalizer. But I'm going Chiefs 1, Lions 2, Eagles 3, Bills 4, Ravens 5, Vikings 6, Bucks 7, Commanders 8. Those AFC teams. I don't like those AFC teams as much.
How about the Chargers?
That's the one I'm over. I'm either Chargers or Packers.
Chargers have a better D.
And a better coach, probably. I like Harbaugh.
Me too.
I'll go Chargers, then Packers, then Broncos, then Rams, then Steelers. Those are my playoff teams ranked.
Yeah, you think that the Vikings are toast. How about them Steelers?
Yeah, they're toast too.
Here's my top 10 quarterbacks that finished up the final regular season. Number 1, Josh Allen. Number 1. Number 2, very close. I could have went Lamar. Dude, I think, you know what, Xander, do you think there's a shot they could share the MVP this year?
No. The guy who boosts himself up, who parades himself around for not being a fence rider, just tried to split the MVP award in 2. That's the worst take I've ever heard Dan Sileo say in my life. I'm not even kidding you. That is the worst take I've ever heard you say.
I can't defend myself on that one.
You just tried to split me. You get a cookie and you get a cookie. No,
okay.
Pick one. Are you kidding me? I got Josh Allen.
Okay, well, I'm going to do you now. Fuck you. Okay, you got me.
I'm going Josh Allen on the MVP for me, man. Look, I like what Lamar did. Lamar has he's got 8 or 9 Pro Bowlers on that team. He's got a Hall of Fame running back he's handing it off to. Zay Flowers has turned the corner. If you took Lamar off that team, they obviously wouldn't be as good. I think they could win some games. I think they have a good roster. If you took Josh Allen off the Bills, they might be 3-4
5-win team.
Right? They might be 3 or 4 wins. So I'm going Josh Allen MVP this year for me.
I got Allen, Lamar. 3rd, I got Burrow. Top 10 quarterbacks. I got Goff 4. I got Mahomes 5. I've got Mayfield 6. I've got Darnold 7. I've got Herbert 8. I got Stafford 9. And I got Stroud 10.
Can I predict something about CJ Stroud? You want me to not ride the fence?
Okay.
All right, I won't ride the fence, and I will admit if I am wrong on this, as I always would if I am wrong. Everybody, I think C.J. Stroud might have been a one-hit wonder.
Well, he has won 22 games the last 2 seasons.
I don't see it anymore. He looks like he's got happy feet. I don't see the calm, the poise, the accuracy. I don't see it right now. Now, I know he lost some players. I know he didn't have an awful season. I'm making a big take here. I don't like him anymore. If I had to pick Jaden Daniels or CJ Stroud right now to start a franchise, I'd pick Jaden Daniels. In fact, if I had to pick CJ Stroud or Baker Mayfield, I'd probably pick Baker Mayfield right now. If I had to pick CJ Stroud or Jalen Hurts, I'll take Jalen Hurts. If I had to pick CJ Stroud or Jared Goff, I'll take Goff. There's basically not I might even take Bo Nix.
I don't buy that at all. The guy threw for, if you're calling a shitty year 3,800 yards, then what is your guy?
I don't think the stats tell the full story. I really
Well,
don't.
they win too. They're in the
playoffs.
playoffs.
Can I say something to you about
Wait
stats?
a minute. How in the world can you fucking give Hurts credit for being in the playoffs consecutive years and not give CJ Stroud credit for being in the playoffs? I mean, look, they came out of that Deshaun Watson nightmare, and this guy has resurrected that fucking career, that franchise.
You're right.
Into being decent.
I know I'm in the minority. I understand that CJ's done a lot to prove a lot. In fact, I thought he was going to be a superstar after last season. I had him in my top 6 quarterbacks after the year. But I don't know, just a gut feeling. When I watch the game, when I look at it, I don't see it as much anymore. That's all I'm saying.
Did you hear what Jaws said about Love? Called him overrated.
Yeah, I did see that. By the way, let me say something to you about stats. This is why I hate stats. If you look at Josh Allen's stats this year, and no, I am not insinuating that anybody I will compare him to here is better than Josh Allen. Josh Allen is the best quarterback I will compare him to right now. They're eerily similar to Jalen Hurts' 22 stats. 3,800 passing yards, 16 rushing touchdowns, he has 26 or 27 passing touchdowns, I think, somewhere in that range. I mean,
with lesser talent.
Way lesser talent. But I'm just saying, sometimes you're not going to kill Josh Allen for that. That's what his team needed this year. His team needed 16 rushing touchdowns. His team needed a lot of ground game. He didn't have great receivers, so he didn't have 4,000 yards. I know you can't say that about Jalen, but it's just a point about stats that I don't think they tell the full story.
No,
Josh Allen. If you look at Josh Allen and say, "Oh, he's never going to throw 4K," I'll say,
analytic metric. That's all they are.
Yeah,
they're analytic metrics. I mean,
he killed Hurts for throwing 3,800 though.
Yeah, because to my opinion, anybody with 2-star receivers like that,
that's fair,
and a running back like that, you should be throwing for 5,500 yards.
Well,
I mean, okay. Let me ask. Give me the stat line on what you just play a game with me. What do you think Burrow would do in that huddle with that talent with
on the Eagles?
Yeah.
Please don't make me think of that.
With the old line.
Playoff week. Sileo, it's a playoff week. Don't make me think of that right now. All right?
Hey.
He probably have
$6,000.
If you throw 5,500 yards, that means you're losing a lot of football games. Think about it. He would. Everybody's saying 5,500 yards.
It's funny you say that. The year Brady threw for the most yards, they got beat that year.
Yeah, and I mean, you're playing a lot of games. If he's throwing 5,500 yards, we're going to be beating teams 27-0 at halftime, for crying out loud. They're not going to be throwing the ball like that in the second half. So I think he'd probably have 5,000 yards. But
what do you mean he had $5,000 almost this year in the Bengals? I'm talking.
Yeah, but that's because they were behind every game.
That's
true. He
was
throwing so much all year. How many attempts did Burrow have this year? He must have.
Had to be in the 600s.
Yeah, I mean, he was.
And you're right. They're throwing from behind.
Wait, so listen to this. The Bengals have the passing leader in the NFL, the passing yards leader and touchdowns leader. They have the Triple Crown wide receiver. They have the leader in sacks in the NFL, and they didn't even make the playoffs.
Because their defense is ranked 30th. Okay, I mean, hey, it's one thing to put up all the numbers. It's another thing when you can't stop people.
Yeah.
Here's the MVP. I put my
652 attempts for Joe Burrow.
Holy piss.
What does Jalen have this year? 400?
425. How you doing?
Later,
the guy at St. Joe's prep through more times this year.
I wish I could pull those. It's Hendrickson. Trey Hendrickson, Jason, 18.
Yeah. He had a really good year. No, he led the NFL in sacks.
Yeah.
Here's the MVP voting, and I sent it in.
He had 17 and a half sacks, by the way.
This is the different one. This is the Players Association. Allen 1, Lamar 2, Barkley 3, Goff 4, Burrow 5, Mayfield 6, Darnold 7, Daniels 8, Herbert 9, and Derrick Henry 10.
That's pretty good. Who are your top 5?
Can I tell you who I debated with Derrick Henry? I'm thinking I probably should have sent in Jamar Chase.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. I mean, even though, think about it, Xander. Saquon Barkley only outrushed Derrick Henry this year for 80 yards.
I know.
There was only an 80-yard difference in those two.
And what Lamar throw for this year? Oof.
4,200 yards.
Yeah.
So don't talk to me. You can't do both. They did both. Okay.
Yeah, the whole narrative of like the reason Jalen.
But you know what's funny
is not good.
They did both, but at the expense of losing ball games. They dropped the game to Cleveland this year.
I know. They didn't. I didn't think they had a good year.
I didn't either.
That's why Lamar's not my MVP. Like,
and I don't think he's going to win in the playoffs.
Wait, so just think about this though. What were the Ravens' expectations coming into the year? They were high, right?
They won
so
the
if
AFC
I told you before the year, okay, your expectations are high, and your quarterback's going to play like an MVP, you would say, all right, the Ravens are going to win 14 games. If I told you before this year for the Eagles, with Saquon Barkley in this roster, Jalen's going to have an MVP year this year, you would have predicted 14, 15 wins for the Eagles. So why did if the Ravens have the MVP on a team that was expected to be better than they are, why is that MVP deserving? He clearly wasn't the most valuable player in the league. It's clearly Josh Allen, who had way lesser expectations, who has a way worse roster, who had to do way more for his squad to win the amount of games they won. And by the way, he won the bigger games. Lamar lost to the Eagles. Who else did Lamar? Like you said, they lost to Pittsburgh once. They lost to the Browns once.
Allen beat the Chiefs.
Allen beat the Chiefs. I mean,
their only real
Lamar's
loss.
Not my MVP. I'm not saying he didn't have a great year, but Lamar is not my MVP.
Here's the rookie of the year.
Lamar's not even 2 for me, by the way.
Put up Burrow in there?
No.
Who?
Jared Goff.
He doesn't get enough respect.
He does not get enough respect.
Do you agree with me when I say this? If that guy closes the deal and wins a Super Bowl, that'll be 2 conference championship rings, a Super Bowl ring, 3 conference championship appearances. He's going to probably retire with over 65,000 yards. He had an amazing passing year. He's near 70% in completion percentage. Xander, how do you not look at him as a Hall of Fame candidate if he wins a Super Bowl with all that postseason success?
Yeah, you're right, man. You're right.
And I can't stand. I mean,
I'll tell you what, he will be a legend in Michigan. If
oh my God,
a legend.
I
mean, they already talk about they like him. You know, more, his time in Detroit has been more memorable than Stafford's. Think about that. How many years was Stafford a Hall of Fame?
Over a decade. Over a decade.
I mean, and you have 3 years with Jared Goff, and the amount of winning that they've done, you know, that fan base loves that dude. If that dude brings a ring for them, and by the way, I told you something before the show that I'm going to say publicly right now. People aren't going to like it, but I'm going to say it anyway because it's genuinely how I feel right now. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I hope it doesn't come to fruition. When I look at the Detroit Lions right now, when I watch the Dan Campbell post-game interview or post-game locker room stuff, when I look at some of the behind-the-scenes footage that the team releases, when I look at how they communicate, when I watch Jared Goff get asked on the post-game show on Sunday about his coach, and he damn near cries, I see a team that has the feeling of a really special team. Think about it. Think about it this for the Eagles, guys. You lose 12 starters and you still win 15 ball games to clinch the NFC. You have the best offense in football, scoring 34 points a game. You lose David Montgomery and you don't miss a beat. Like in Philly, we'd be saying, this is special. This is special. This is the moment. Look at how Detroit has a feeling right now that unless they fuck it up, and they very well might, they have the feeling right now that I think they could win the whole thing if they get there. I really do. That's just how I feel. I know people don't want to hear that, but that's a special team, man. It's going to take the Eagles' very best to beat them. I'm not saying we can't do it. But it's going to take our best, I think, to beat that team in Detroit.
Let me give you why I think Goff feels that way. And why I've always had a problem with Hurts and his relationship with his coach. When you look at Jared Goff, who was the number 1 overall pick, and the number 1 overall pick is traded away and he delivered you an NFC title, brought you to a Super Bowl, and you're sent to a Detroit, one of the lands where quarterbacks go to die. Chicago, the Jets, Detroit, you go there to die. They were looking at him as a stopgap guy. Nobody had faith in him. You know what Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes did? They sat there and they watched this guy last year before he got his giant contract of $53 million a year. They saw this guy and what this guy had gone through. I think the lessons that he went through with that journey and Dan Campbell buying into it, because remember, Dan Campbell started out 1-10-1 or 0-10-1. I mean, they were not winning games. Campbell stuck with him, put his ass on the line for him, and he feels obligated because that guy took a leap of faith on him where even Sean McVay cashed his chips in on him. Nobody thought he was anything. Nobody thought he was this. Then they turn around and they give him a $250+ million deal. I would cry too because that guy had the faith in me. Hence, you turn it around with Hurts, and I say this: how could you not be in a position where, if you're Jalen, where you feel obligated to the Eagles for what they did to you? Nobody wanted that second pick in Philly. Everyone goofed on it when they drafted him in the second round. They had just given Wentz the $38 million deal. Then they turn around and they build the greatest franchise and greatest roster in the history of the team around him. And what you get is a guy who waffles in his loyalty to his head coach. My problem with the relationship with Jalen, in my opinion, I think he struggles with relationships. Supposedly he has a problem with A.J. Brown. I mean, he really has a back and forth relationship and a waffling relationship with his head coach. You see players that gravitate to one another and coaches who gravitate to those guys. It's on display. Right. I think that comes out, in my opinion, on the relationship with Dan Campbell and with Jared Goff better than it comes out with Nick Sirianni. You know what it looks like? It looks like a forced marriage in Philly. It doesn't look like that in Detroit.
I agree with that. I think that's a good take by you. What do you take away from that though?
I take away that you just have to deal with his different style of person. I'm not saying he's not a good teammate. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that he's just a different guy where Goff is more genuine in expressing himself better. Maybe that's more of it, Xander, is that Goff expresses himself. Dan Campbell surely expresses himself. But why does the quarterback and the coach look more genuine than Nick? Maybe it's the organization too, because most of this shit is forced. Then you have to.
I do think there's a weird similarity between Dan Campbell and Nick Sirianni.
Yeah, but I don't believe Nick. I believe Dan.
Well, can I ask you why? Because I'm not a big fan of him.
The organization makes it that way.
Yeah, but the players play for him.
That's right. Right. Okay, wait.
What I'm saying to you is I believe that the players playing for a coach is the best indication of whether a coach is believable or not in what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? Like if there's 53 grown professionals who are making millions of dollars to play sports, believe in them, then I think he's doing something right. And when I say I think there's comparisons to Dan Campbell, I think, by the way, I think you're overall right. They do come across as more genuine. But I think part of the reason both of them are so different yet so successful is because they're kind of similar. They're emotional. They wear their emotions on their sleeve. They stick to their guns in the middle of games, whether they go down for it or not. At least that's what Nick did in 22. I think there's an element of those two guys. I think a realness to them, even though Nick is goofy. Like, you're goofy. I'm goofy. I'm goofy as hell. People probably watch this and think I'm goofy. That's cool. I'm me. I try and be as real as I can. If being goofy is fine. Being goofy is not the problem. I think he's real. I think he wears his emotions on his sleeve. I think people can connect with that and relate to that, even if it looks a little goofy at times on the outside.
Okay. I'm going to, and Amber, I'm going to use a little bit of what you're saying here to what Xander's saying. Personally, I think Jeffrey Lurie gets in the way of having an absolute great relationship between the players and the head coach in Philadelphia. I think the Fords and I think Brad Holmes allows Dan Campbell to be as genuine as he possibly can with his roster by giving him the autonomy that he needs to do whatever he wants and whatever he says. No organization in his right. Do you think you think the Eagles would have played those guys on Monday night, turning around knowing Sunday? They would never have done that. Campbell wanted that. Campbell said that there was unfinished business. I think the owner of the Philadelphia Eagles gets in the way because you're right about something. The things that are said in the locker room are clearly why the players like Nick Sirianni. The things that Nick Sirianni says outside the locker room at the press conferences are forced. They're written on a hand notebook. You're coached. And it just doesn't look. And what they do to Nick is they basically emasculate him publicly most of the time in front of his team because he's got a bullshit lie to people. Campbell's not lying. And this is something we've never broached. And this is a great conversation here because Nick Sirianni really can't be Nick Sirianni when he stands in front of a mic. He's got to constantly lie. He played that fucking stupid game today with Hurts in the pro. I mean, fuck, man. Dan Campbell would have answered that. He goes, we'll be ready to go this weekend. He'll be ready. We'll be all right. I mean, nobody's going to, fucking do anything.
Yeah, and to me, all the things you're saying about Nick that are, you're right, they're not redeemable. They're not the greatest things. I think all of those come from the organization.
It does.
I really do. I think all of his things that piss you off, all the things he does that make you like, what the hell? Most of them are organization-based. I really think that. I mean, what you just said, the way he is in press conferences, dude,
it's uncomfortable.
Bob Lang is on our ass. The Eagles don't give us a fucking dollar. I don't owe the Eagles shit. Can you imagine what Bob Lang is like to Nick Sirianni before he goes to the podium every week?
Can you imagine if you had a real relationship with them and you had a business relationship with them, what that guy would be doing? Xander, he'd put more guardrails and handcuffs on you. I mean, but how about this? There's more handcuffs on Nick Sirianni being the head coach of that organization. Remember what Frank Reich said when he initially got the job? You know what he said? If you know how to handle yourself in the Eagle organization, you're going to go a long way. If you don't, you're going to get fired and you're going to get pushed out the door like Doug did. That's exactly it. And you know what? I think they do a disservice to how and maybe who he really is. He might actually, because you're right. What I see in the locker room and what I see at a press conference, those are two different dudes. They're two different guys. You can't hear players go, I love playing for the guy. I love working with the guy. I heard Kellen Moore today go, I really like what he does in his preparation, coaching the coaches. Everybody's aligned. Everybody kind of knows what the guy stands in front of a mic. He sounds like an asshole. Yeah. And he sounds not, how about this? They make that guy sound so much not like him, and they make him act so differently in front of a mic. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
You know what? Dan's uncomfortable. Dan's uncomfortable in front of a mic in the right way. Hey, man, we're going to fucking go after people. We're going to eat fucking knees. We're going to do this. He just has a way and sounds genuine to me, man. I mean, I don't know.
DC, let me just check you on this. DC, what's up, bro? He checks and says, when Nick is himself, you guys kill him for it. Detroit doesn't treat Campbell that way. Yo, Trucker, look up the story when you get a chance. You can type in Dan Campbell has to sell his home. He had to sell his home after the playoff game last year because he went for it on a 4th down. So
in an organization that has
listen, Trucker, you're not wrong that Nick gets crushed when he's himself, but don't say that they don't do that in Detroit.
Hey, Trucker,
get crushed.
The Lions haven't won a championship in 68 fucking years. That guy takes them to a conference title game, and Lion fans are acting like they're Eagle and Kansas City Chief fans. Pump the brakes there, guys. You guys have sucked for decades. Imagine that, Xander. The Lions haven't won a championship in 68 years. 1957 is the last time that they've won a championship. Okay, Wayne Larrabee's going to join us at the bottom of the hour. Do me a favor. Let's get to these super chats.
Let's do it. By the way, appreciate everybody in the chat. Hit that like button.
Thank you, guys.
Where's this guy, Mr. Alex Perez? Alex, you're back on a new account. He's still chirping about your daughter. I don't know why he can't keep your daughter's name out of his mouth. It's weird. People have a weird fascination with weird shit.
No, what they try to do. No, it's easy. You know what it is? I feel bad for him because he's trying to get my attention by going after something that he knows is near and dear to me. But you know what we all say at our house? Thank you very much for the algorithm.
Yeah, that's true. But at the same time, I don't.
I get it. Yeah,
everything in
it's
this
over the line
for it to be a bulletin board for you guys.
Yeah, no, it's over the line. Yeah,
stupid. Maverick says maybe people are different. Maybe because people are different. I don't know what you're saying that to. I guess the coaches.
Yeah, the people are different. There's no doubt. But what I don't like is the Eagles making them in their mold, not his mold. You see, the Eagles are trying to mold Nick Sirianni in their image, not his image.
Here we go. Clifton Parker checks in. He says, you're comparing Jalen to a first-round pick quarterback. Is he not playing above his draft stock, which was a backup quarterback?
Yes.
Main QB taken in the second round and below, outplaying him. Clifton, this isn't 2020, dude. He's on a second contract. He got paid like a top guy. I don't know what you're talking about.
$50 million, Clifton. It's over with.
Yeah, but once you give a guy a second contract and you give it to the tune of what they did, you're no longer, you're comparing him to a first-round player. If you're a first-year guy in the league, okay, that's a good comparison. I'll take that. But second contract, I'm sorry, I don't agree.
That's not a good take. That's not.
Clifton sent a super sticker as well. Clifton, I do appreciate it. I didn't agree.
Hey, by the way,
I do appreciate your support. Thank you, brother.
Hey, Clifton, it's sports talk, my friend.
Well, I think Clifton understands that.
Hey, Nick, if Stroud had a bad year, what's Hurts had with the talent around him?
I agree with Nick, though. I don't think Stroud's been good.
Well, then what do you think Hurts' year's been? They don't get to the playoffs. How about this?
Hurts hasn't had a good year.
They don't get to the playoffs without C.J. Stroud. Do you think the Eagles make the playoffs in the NFC without Jalen Hurts? I do. With Barkley going for $2,000, I do.
Who would be the quarterback, though?
I don't know. They'd find one. They might win 10 games. You telling me you don't think they'd win 10 games without Jalen Hurts? I do.
Well, if you look through a couple of the games, like I think there was a couple of games there that we probably would have lost if we didn't have Jalen Hurts.
How about this? I'll make this point to you too, and I said it earlier, though. There is no chance in hell Barkley has $2,000 without Hurts in the huddle. There's no way he has that. Why? Because of his threat.
Right.
Because of the threat he brings. He probably gets 1,500 with a drop back guy, but there's no way he gets $2,000 if there's just another dude back there. I don't believe that.
Toby K checks in. He says, Sidney Brown is a missile out there. Love his no fear attitude. Do you think he can be a reliable starter at some point? Your both show is amazing. We Eagles fans in Germany love it. Go on, guys. Toby, appreciate that, man.
Thank you, Toby. That's really
cool.
Much.
We got it from Germany checking in. That's dope, isn't it?
Hey, Toby, I would say this about Sidney. Let the game slow down a little bit. He needs to work on his form tackle and his angles a little bit better. But when you've got a guy like Vic, I heard something also that Nick said that on Saturday, you hear what he does? He goes over the proper angles and tackling certain players that you're going to play on Sunday. You need to be here. So like when you go Derrick Henry, you know what he was saying? Don't get him high. Right. Do not hit Derrick Henry high because he'll run you over. We've got to be waist high on this guy. And he's teaching fundamental skill sets on how to tackle Jamar Chase, how to tackle a Justin Jefferson. I think that's really great, man. That's really detailed coaching.
Good stuff there. I think you got this, right? This was before I came on. Mikey Shreds checked in. O-line didn't trust
Yes.
Hurts in the pocket. Yeah, good stuff there. We got one new one here. Matt Ing checks in. He says, would you agree the Packers are in a similar position to the 2023 Birds with the late performance slide and injuries? I think, Matt, they only lost 2 straight, and the one game they lost was to the Vikings, who were real hot at the time. So I don't want to say it's that big.
Matt, here's where I disagree with that. I actually think the Packer defense has picked itself up a bit in the last couple of weeks. I think they've actually gotten a little bit better. And Kellen Moore has actually said that too today, that they've actually picked their game up a little bit. They've got good star players pretty much at every level. D-line, linebackers, and in the secondary, especially Xavier McKinney that they got over from New York, who's been an absolute godsend for them when it comes to making plays. I mean, they've picked their game up. They're a better – heading into this game Sunday, Xander, I think the Packers are way better than they were defensively in week 1 than they were. They're better right now.
Remember,
I think
this is a first-year defensive
– the offense is wobbled.
First-year defensive coordinator that came from college.
Yes.
So he's not – like week 1 was not the right look at him. I agree with that. They're better now than they were. And they got some good guys playing well. Clifton Parker again. Clifton, thanks for all your support, bro. Appreciate it. He says Trevor Lawrence, Tua, not outplaying Jalen. And he's saying that because they're 2 first-round picks. Yeah, I agree. Clifton, the only thing I'll say is I stopped comparing Jalen to guys based on round after he gets his second contract. Now I'm comparing him to the elite players in the league. And I think it's fair to do that, but you're not wrong. He certainly is playing better than some.
You want to compare Jalen Hurts to 2 guys that are in the playoffs? Okay. I mean, if that's what you want to do, who said that? Who said that? We said that giving Trevor Lawrence $55 million and giving Tua $50 million was the right move. I'm not giving a quarterback in Miami that kind of money when he's not reliable in the lineup. And what has Trevor Lawrence done? He's got great ability, but in my opinion, that ability has to end up playing itself out where you win games. That's got to equal, and I haven't seen it. And if you want to compare your quarterback to 2 guys that haven't made the playoffs, then go right ahead. Hey, 150 likes. Let's get that up, guys, please.
Yeah. By the way, I want to go real quick back to Matt Ing's comment. And he brought up whether they're in a similar position to the Birds. I actually think the Packers are in a similar position to themselves last year. Remember, they came in as a wild card versus the winner of the NFC East, the Dallas Cowboys, and they were on the road in that game. This is same scenario for them now a year later. You know, going into enemy territory on the road in the wild card, basically not expected to win the game, nothing to lose against the winner of the NFC East, and this year it's the Philadelphia Eagles. So they have a weird. Now listen, Philadelphia is not Dallas, and Lincoln Financial Field is not AT&T. So it's going to be a different atmosphere for sure.
Absolutely.
Nick Marchetti checks and he says, "I'd say Steelers are 2023 Eagles right now." Yeah, what were they? 11-3, and now they're 11-6.
Yeah, right. Yes. Okay. Well, remember what they did. Remember that they're coming out of the Deshaun Watson bullshit. And everyone's saying that franchise. Hey, by the way, you know the rookie of the year? It is going to be Jared Verse in my ballot. Q second. Chop Robinson, who I liked a lot, is third. Fiske from the Rams is also a really good player. He's fourth. Cooper DeJean is fifth. Hey, how about what Houston did? Get this again, Xander. Last year, did they not have Will Anderson and they had C.J. Stroud, right? Those 2 guys? They got 2 guys this year. They're going to make the all-rookie team again. Kamir Lassiter and Kalen Bullock. Get this. That Nick Caserio can fucking draft. I mean, Houston is getting it right. They're getting it right. And this is why New England, you know why they don't have players? Caserio's no longer there. They're getting players, dude. I mean, those are starters on their team, too.
Yeah, Caserio's done a good job. He's done a good job, for sure.
All right,
one more comment I want to push back on here. And I'm not picking on you, Trucker. I know it feels like it, but I'm not. He says, you compare Jalen with players that have been in the league more years than he has all the time. This is how I view it, Sills. And maybe I'm wrong in this. Okay?
He's 5 years in.
This is how I view it. There's the young guns who are fresh on their rookie contracts. And then there's everybody else. And I don't care if you're Matthew Stafford, who's 40 years old, or you're Jalen Hurts, who's 26. You're all competing for the Super Bowl. I put you all in one big pot, and I say, who is the best and who's going to prevail? I don't care about how many years he's been here, how many. No. Now, listen, it's fun to talk for stats and accomplishments and career accolades. But listen, that's why I always push back on Sileo. 4 years, he's already got an NFC championship ring. Jalen Hurts is technically on a good trajectory, but I'm comparing him to the whole league now because I think that's what we should be doing. We want Super Bowls.
But that right there, Xander, is why when I first came on this network, you said, well, you changed. I go, because you know why? Every year is different. You're looking at 1 year like this. You just mentioned the most important thing. You got to put 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers in the mix with Jalen Hurts this year on what quarterback that you think could win a Super Bowl this year. Who gives a shit about his resume? What does that have anything to do with what he did 11 years ago when he won the MVP and he won a Super Bowl? What's that got to do with anything in 25? Nothing. It's got look that it has Sam Darnold's failures have nothing to do with 24, 25. Now, you're right about that game. That game is a red flag, and it's a big one. I got it. And I even said that, did I not, on the pre and post? Hey, let's see what he does in the post game. In the postseason. I want to see who this guy really is a little bit here. So,
all right, real quick. Who's your one team, sleeper team to make a run? And then who's your one team that should win the first couple of games that you think is on upset watch?
Let me write it down, okay? And an upset team?
Upset, yeah. Team that's going to get upset. And then team that could go on a run that's not really expected to right now of those top 4 or 5 that we talked about.
I hate what I'm going to say. But I think the Bucs. I think the Bucs are a sleeper team, okay? I think the Bucs that Bucky Irvin running the ball.
All right, so real quick, how many wins are we talking for the Bucs?
Wait! You're talking about an upset? I think that Rams team. Keep an eye on that Minnesota game.
Vikings. Yeah, I agree.
In LA, keep an eye on that.
Now, here's the scary part. You said Bucs could be the team that makes a run. All right, and I don't disagree with that
because they've beaten both the Eagles and the Lions this year.
What kind of run? By the way, I'm surprised you didn't say Eagles as the upset alert.
No.
What kind of run do you think the Bucs win?
Before I get
wait. If the Bucs win round 1, Sills, and they're playing the Commanders, if the Bucs win round 1 and the Eagles win round 1, we will play. It doesn't matter what happens in the Vikings game. We play. If the Bucs win, that's why I said to somebody earlier, there's no way, there's no scenario that could happen where we would play the Bucs in the NFC title game, because the Bucs would either be eliminated, or if they win, we'll play them, or we would have been eliminated if they make it to the title game. So
I'm worried about the Bucs.
I think it's going to be Bucs Eagles divisional. Now, if you don't want the Bucs, then you're going to be rooting for the Commanders this weekend, Eagles fans.
Here, look at this. Before I get you out of here, I wrote down the comparisons between Philadelphia and Green Bay, and the only one where you probably give Green Bay an offense is the quarterback with Love over Hurts. Every other position.
I do that either.
Oh, I do completely.
He's got more talent. He hasn't put it all together.
Nowhere in Jordan Love's league.
Listen though, you're missing what I'm saying. He's more talented. Yes, he's as streaky as they come, dude.
I know.
He really is.
I haven't seen anything out of Jalen this year.
Well, that's fair.
But every other position, it's all Eagles. Even with Josh Jacobs, who had a great year.
Yeah, right.
Defensively, Milton Williams and Van Ness are probably a push. Clark's a good player, but Davis is probably better. Devontae and then Carter. Carter's clearly better. Gary is better than Sweat. Gary's a Pro Bowler. Nolan Smith, Walker, probably push. Zach Bond is better. Blankenship is better. Xavier's better than Gardner Johnson. Nixon's pretty good, but Slay. You're better almost everywhere across the board. I just don't see it, man.
I don't think there's one position they're better than us. D-line's close. They have a good D-line.
Dude, Gary's better than Sweat. He's the starting Pro Bowler.
Yeah, I know, but overall, their D-line.
No. Overall, like I said, I don't see it.
I wasn't doing edge. I mean, if you go edge, I could.
I don't see it. I don't see
tight end. Their tight end solid too. So I mean, they got.
If Goddard plays like he did last week, I'll take Dallas.
And what makes you think he's going to play like he did last week?
Dude, there's never been a problem about ability. It's always his health.
Well, even when he's healthy,
he's available. He'll look well. It's also Hurts finding him.
That's what I'm getting at. I mean, remember, he had the one game this year versus the Saints. He had 170 yards. Yeah. Other than that,
why did he have that? Because somebody was hurt in that game.
Everybody was hurt. And I think A.J. Brown was out in that game. But, I mean, the only other games he really did shit, he had 2 60-yard games, 62 and 61. And then he had 55 last week. Every other week, 31, 38, 25, 61, 19, 35.
Yeah.
Dallas Goedert's just he's not a guy in our offense, really.
No, I got it. All
right, brother. Good show.
All right, brother. I appreciate it, man.
One super chat there if you want to read it on the way out here.
Jared Goff here showed what you should get for a $50 million blitz recognition last week was incredible. Not wrong to expect more from Jalen.
Matt, if that ain't the truth, man. Jared Goff is incredible at that, dude. Getting through his progressions is fun to watch. It really is.
And by the way, he's learned his entire life setting pass protections. He's already passed. I got to tell you, Xander, I think the responsibility of giving Jalen Hurts pass protection this year has played a factor in his passing numbers. I think he overthinks the whole thing because he's trying to recognize where the blitz is coming from. That's why he's been high in sacks this season. And in my opinion, I think it's taken its toll on him learning. I think this year was a learning curve for him. Now, maybe this is what happens. Maybe next year will be better because he's had a year of setting protections. Can you imagine this is the first year in 8 years you've ever had as a starting quarterback where you set protections? That's crazy.
That's true. It's a lot.
You're supposed to have that skill set in college.
One more. Pumper says QB list is fraudulent without Tanner. Jalen Knights be ready to embrace their new king. Not happening, Pump.
Hey, man, I love you, Pump, but he ain't going nowhere. That guy's got a no trade. You know what no trade means? Fuck you. I ain't going anywhere.
That's Tanner. Everybody loves Tanner. Sean, where the hell did I say that? Sean, what are you making shit up? According to Xander, Eagles are on upset alert. Sean, don't make shit up. Sills, great show, man.
I never said that either, man. That's not happening. All right. Xander, Big C, thank you, brother.
Thank you, Sills. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you guys.
All right, man. We appreciate you guys very much. Make sure you please hit that like button. Don't forget our great friends at BetUS. We have teamed up with our friends at BetUS to have yourself a great football season and discover BetUS Casino Playground. Now, look, if you like slots, I love slots, okay? I do. I like the slots. My wife likes the slots. BetUS has got all your games to raise your pulse and get you going here, man. I love getting there, and I love playing the slots, and that's exactly what BetUS has. They have live dealers for you, and you can sign up now. 200% sign-up bonus up to $5K, and if you're into crypto, 250% all the way up to $5K when it comes to you signing up for you to be able to be involved in this great event during the football season. And if you like the slots, get ready to rush with BetUS Casino. You're going to love the promotions. You're going to love the tournaments. They have all these great tournaments that we're going to be looking at here. Sign up now and experience the difference. Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. And do me a favor, tell them Big Sil sent you.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Gambler.
The following is a real testimonial from the father of a young injured victim.
I didn't think she was going to make it.
Major Perry's daughter was the victim of a horrific accident caused by someone else's negligence.
If you don't find the right counselor, law firm that you're looking for, you will get lost in the wilderness.
Badly injured? Call the Fritz and Bianculli Law Firm at 215-458-2222 and find out why they say, "We got this."
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
We noticed that there was mold creeping into our basement about a year and a half ago, and wanted to make sure that we were getting rid of the problem permanently. We actually reached out to several different contractors to get it resolved, and actually 2 of them recommended DryTech to us as a long-term solution. Other than the noise factor, we wouldn't even know that there was work being done on the basement level. It's really been a clean process for us.
Score and save this football season on your car insurance. Before the next game, save up to 40% on your auto insurance policy. That's right, 40% savings. Call an Audible this season and contact the Del Val Insurance Group. They're an advocate for you, not an insurance company. That means they'll get you the right coverage and save you up to 40%. Call managing partners Fran or Jim of Del Val Insurance, 215-354-0122, or score and save at dvigi.com. dvigi.com.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Rick Sills, National Football Show. We appreciate you guys coming aboard. We're efforting our friend Wayne Larrivee, the voice of the Green Bay Packers. We're looking to see if we can catch up with our friend there too. So hang tight here. We're hoping to run into him and get his look at what he sees with this football team. So hopefully we're able to catch up with him here. Nick spoke yesterday. Vic and Kellen spoke today. So let me go back a little bit in what Nick was saying and get his takes a little bit here on what he said as he came out of that week. And then we'll go into Kellen and we'll go into Vic, because I thought those guys, by the way, I want to show you guys something real quick before we get into that. Guess who is interviewing for the Jags job? Who do you think is interviewing right now for the Jags job? Matt Nagy. Matt Nagy. He's interviewing for the Jacksonville Jaguars job. Okay, why? Here's a guy that got blown out in Chicago, right? He was with Andy Reid. If I was Doug Peterson, I would immediately go to take that job as the offensive coordinator in Kansas City. And I would recoup my reputation a little. Not that he has to do a ton. And I would recoup, build back up, win a Super Bowl, and I would team up with Andy again. And I think there's your replacement for offensive coordinator in Kansas City, is to go and be the offensive coordinator in Kansas City. You imagine Doug Peterson. So let me tell you what the staff would be. So the offensive coordinator would be Doug Peterson, the head coach, play caller, Andy Reid, and your defensive coordinator would be Steve Spagnuolo. Can you imagine that staff? It would be an improvement. it would be an improvement on the staff. Incredible. Look at what that would end up doing. Okay? Incredible. Yeah. Because let me just do this. There we go. Eagles waived Ian Book. Hurts for sure playing. Yeah, they're probably going to sign him to the practice squad. Yeah, they're probably going to sign him to the practice squad here. So, yeah, I would do that if I were Doug. Okay. Hey, dude, I mean, look, just think of that coaching staff. Doug Peterson, Andy Reid, and Steve Spagnuolo in Kansas City. They would have improved their football team. Okay. Okay, so we're waiting for Wayne. Wayne's texting me right now. Okay, let me see. Let me see here. Can you now? Sorry to be producing now. Sorry to be producing now here. Yeah. Eagles 1 and out. I don't believe that. Okay? I do not believe that. Look, nowhere do I look at that and see that this thing is going to go down that way. I got to tell you something. One of the coolest things, if you guys have never done this and gone to Lambeau Field, when I flew into Lambeau, when I was a rookie, I never in a million years knew where the place was. I knew my legendary uncle, Andy Robustelli, had played at Lambeau numerous times, and he and Lombardi were dear friends because Vince was on the New York Giants coaching staff when my uncle played back with the Giants. And you fly into, I think it's Appleton, then you go through all these communities, and you're like, where am I going, to somebody's house? And then you come over this hill, and there it is, the Cathedral of Football, Lambeau Field. It's one of the coolest places I've ever been to. I played at some of the greatest college football stadiums of all time. You go into Lambeau. I do like Arrowhead. I thought that was a really great place. I've played at RFK, but there's nothing like Lambeau Field. And when my uncle told me years ago, there were two voices in NFL history during when I was a young kid. They were John Facenda and Ray Scott. Okay? And if you don't know who Ray Scott is, you better pick a book up. And Wayne Larrivee is in that line of being one of the play-by-play guys in the history of the Green Bay Packers. And that is a pretty dope thing. We got a wild card game coming up this weekend, and it's going to be at Lincoln Financial. How many playoff games has Wayne called? And I'm going to bring this stat up before I bring them on. In the last 31 years, there's only been 3 quarterbacks in Green Bay that have taken 97% of the snaps. You know, you can make that same call about the Steelers having only 3 coaches since 1969. That's how you win championships, and that's how you win. Wayne Larrivee, the voice of the Green Bay Packers, joins us now. And I got to tell you, Wayne, that's quite a stat there, man. In the last 31 years,
yeah,
you've had 3 dudes. When you look at the Cleveland Browns, and the Cleveland Browns have probably had 30 guys this year quarterbacking that football team. That's a pretty remarkable stat.
Yeah, it really is. And it's an incredible run on quarterbacks that they've had here in Green Bay. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know if we'll ever see that happen again, but it's the Packers have had good fortune with the quarterbacks.
Wayne, let's do this. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong when I say this. It's been a kind of a wobbling year, it seems, for Green Bay, and streaky, where, you know, they look like they're playing really good ball. And I do think the defense has picked up the last couple weeks of the season, whereas sometimes I think because of injuries or what have you, I think it's been kind of bumpy at times. One week I turn on the Packers, I go, wow. Another week I'm like, man, it just seems a little wobbly. Have I been wrong?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's interesting how it's worked because they have had long stretches where they played really well and won games. they've had trouble against the top teams. And if you're not in this area, you probably only see the Packers when they're playing like the Vikings or Lions or in the opener against Philadelphia, that kind of thing. And for the longest time, until this past weekend, they had only lost to those 3 teams and beaten everyone else. So then they lost to the Bears this weekend. Has it been, I guess the unevenness of the season probably rotated around the injury to Jordan Love. And that certainly impacted his performance. He was injured on one of the last plays of the game in Sao Paulo against the Eagles. Didn't play the next 2 weeks. Malik Willis, they picked him up. He comes in, he plays. They win those games. They have to construct their offense differently. But nonetheless, they win those games. Jordan comes back, and they win a couple of games, and then they lose to Detroit. He goes through another injury, and then he gets healthy. And through late November into December, they were playing really, really well. And of late, the defense, as you mentioned accurately, has come on over the second half of the season, and it's one of the better defenses in the league. But the offense hasn't quite hit on all cylinders. They were at the end of last year. So going into the playoffs this year, although they have a much better record than they had a year ago, they're still the 7th seed, and they're probably not playing with that kind of momentum they had a year ago.
Let me give you a silver lining in that here, too. I mean, do you think that helped develop the run game more, that because the quarterback played pretty much the entire year banged up, and there were stretches, like you said, where they were worried about him and that running game? I heard Vic Fangio talking about it today, that it's one of the better groups, and Josh Jacobs has been just a godsend while your quarterback has been banged up. But silver lining here, Wayne, don't you think that helped develop the offensive line and also the run game you have?
That's a real good perspective, Dan. I would say yes and no. When they got Josh Jacobs, one of the reasons they got him was because they felt that they needed a physical bell cow running back who they didn't have to worry about how many touches he was getting a game. They didn't have to worry about load management with this guy. And he's been everything. He's been all of that. When Jordan went out and they went run heavy against Indianapolis and Tennessee in those games without Jordan Love, I think, did it open their eyes a little bit that they could really lean on this ground game? Maybe it did, but I think they knew all along that they had a ground game they could count on because they really liked this back that they picked up.
I got to tell you, Wayne, I said this about Matt LaFleur a year ago. I go, okay, no Aaron Rodgers. We're going to find out what kind of guy this guy is as a play caller. I got to tell you, he is a really good play calling. No, he's a great play calling head coach. They're fundamentally sound. When you put the 22 on and you watch Green Bay, there's detail. You see the attention to it. You see the play calling. They mix you up a lot. I mean, they keep you on your toes. They spread the ball out well. He has been a really good head coach. I mean, Mike McCarthy, Mike Holmgren, you want to throw Mike Sherman in there, all winning coaches, I get it and all, but boy, have you been surprised how good he's been as a play calling head coach, maybe right in there with Holmgren and McCarthy when you had him up there.
Yeah, Dan, I didn't know much about him when they hired him. He had spent 1 year on the staff at Tennessee where he called offensive plays. And when he was with Sean McVay in Los Angeles, McVay called the plays. Matt was the offensive coordinator. Matt's younger brother, Mike, is there now in the same kind of role. So I didn't know much about Matt LaFleur. And I knew he was on the Shanahan tree and all of that. And this goes back to where now you have to go back about 5-6 years here, and maybe 7 years, folks. But there was a time in the NFL where if you were seen in a latrine with Sean McVay, you were NFL head coaching material. And then Bill Belichick beat McVay and the Rams in the Super Bowl 28-3, and all of that went away. Oh, okay. I guess no, that's not a big deal. But they hired this young coach. He had spent 1 year at Tennessee, and it wasn't a great year. They didn't have a great quarterback situation. It wasn't a great year. He comes up to Green Bay. Now he's got Aaron Rodgers, and that's a blessing and a curse. Why is it a blessing? Well, Aaron Rodgers can run this offense and that type of thing and get you into plays that work or whatever. Okay, so he gives you a chance to win right away. But what he also does, he kind of overshadows everything you're doing. because all the credit's going to Aaron Rodgers. And that happens not just in Green Bay, not just in football. It happens in all sports. Phil Jackson won 11 NBA World Championships. Not once was he Coach of the Year. Not once. Think about that, folks. And so that's kind of what Matt was up against. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers leaves. Now, Matt LaFleur, a lot of drama goes out of the building, but you're also losing a quarterback who's going to be a first-ballot Hall of Famer, one of the best quarterbacks your organization has ever had, and the face of the franchise. They come off of him. Now they're in salary cap hell. They've got the youngest team in the NFL, and Matt LaFleur, though, was much more comfortable and much, his dad told me he was just much more at ease now that he could basically go ahead and say, this is how I want to mold this team and this offense, because he adapted what he wanted to do as a coach to what Aaron Rodgers wanted to do and was capable of doing. That's good coaching in itself. But now once Rodgers leaves, they got a young quarterback, and all of a sudden they've got this young team, and they go through the mid portion of the season, losing 4 in a row, and then they catch fire and make the playoffs last year. And people start realizing, hey, Matt LaFleur is a pretty good coach. And he really is. And he's always been a good coach and has done a great job with this team.
I got to tell you, and people always ask me, and they go like this. They go, well, the Philadelphia Eagles have a great wide receiving group. And I go, no, they don't. They got 2 dudes.
Yeah.
They don't really have a great wide receiving group because the quarterback at times struggles in his progression readings. I want to, and I tell people this as a unit. Look at the way that they spread the ball around. And this is exactly what Vic Fangio was saying. You got Jaden Reed with 55 catches. You've got Kraft with 50 catches. You've got Dobbs with 46. You got another guy with 40 catches in Wicks. You got another guy, Jacobs, out of the backfield who's got 36 catches himself. So again, I mean, the spreading of the football around and the being able to not to know where you're going to be hit if you're a defensive, he makes it uncomfortable for coordinators, doesn't he? Because there's no primary target. All that being said, with Christian Watson not being there, how does that affect the group?
Yeah.
How does that affect the approach? Because they do spread the ball around.
Christian Watson's one guy that, and Vic Fangio would probably tell you this, you got to look at him first, okay, when you're putting together your scouting report, because he's the guy that can blow the top off this defense. He's a good receiver. He can run the full route tree, but he can literally blow the top off your defense. The problem with Christian Watson is he's not been healthy over the course of his career, and now he suffers that devastating knee injury the other day in Green Bay. And I just feel so bad for the kid. He's so talented, Dan. He could be a number 1 receiver, but he had hamstring issues his first couple of years. This year, they felt they got past that. He was doing well. He had a couple of injuries, had a concussion, I believe, missed a game or 2, and then came back. He wasn't supposed to play this past weekend, but Romeo Doubs got sick on Saturday night, and so they dressed Christian Watson, and then all of a sudden he gets injured. So that's really that's a sad situation there because he's such a great kid and a great talent. What you're saying is true. They can spread the ball around. You don't know who's going to be the featured receiver from one week to the next. But I will submit this. In some ways, that's a little more difficult because when you have a number 1 receiver, and we've been around, we've seen them all, Devontae Adams with Aaron Rodgers, Donald Driver with Brett Favre, and all those guys. When you have a number 1 receiver, you suck a lot of the energy and attention of that defense, both in preparation during the week and on game day. And, I'm telling you something. Yeah, Philadelphia doesn't have as deep a receiving core as the Packers, but they've got 2 guys, each of whom would be number 1 in Green Bay, no questions asked. So, it works both ways.
Yep. Yeah, no. I completely see that. You're dead on because you're right. Game preparation, you're going to have to really take a lot of what these 2 guys do. And that's an interesting take on Devontae, that he'd be the number 1 receiver in Green Bay. I love that there. Let me ask you, Wayne, help me out on the history of your wide receiver and what your quarterbacks have done over the last 31 years, as we mentioned at the top of this. Is it true, like Christian Watson and maybe another guy in the last 35 years, you guys have drafted in the first round? Most of these guys have been 2nd and 3rd and 5th round guys. And it just tells you the preparation and and what the quarterbacks do in developing these wide receivers, because I don't really look at the Green Bay Packers as a team that dives in and spends a lot of equity in the draft and first rounds, because even like you said, Adams was a second-round pick, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I mean, so am I right that the quarterbacks in Green Bay develop wide receivers, where a lot of places like Philadelphia had to go get a number one because they weren't very good at really developing a number one?
Well, it's interesting you mentioned that, because if you go back, and I've only been here 26 years, but you go back to 31 years, I mean, it was Sterling Sharp basically developing Brett Favre, the wide receiver developing the quarterback, which is exactly the reverse of how it normally works. But Brett developed some outstanding receivers, Mark Chimura as a tight end, Robert Brooks at wide receiver, then Donald Driver, who was a 7th-round draft choice, develops into a big receiver. Greg Jennings was a 2nd or 3rd-round draft choice. Christian Watson was a 2nd-rounder. Jordy Nelson, a 2nd-round draft choice. And these guys, the quarterbacks have been able to develop these guys because the quarterbacking has been so good here. But the Packers have an eye for wide receivers, and they have an eye, it seems like, in the 2nd round. The one guy, I hope I get his name right, Javon Walker, Mike Sherman took him in the 1st round, back in maybe 2003.
Yeah.
And he was the last 1st-round receiver they drafted that I remember.
Yeah.
And so, it's amazing what they've done.
I've never seen anything like it. Like, it's almost like Pittsburgh does the same stuff. If you look at the Steelers, because the Steelers don't really spend a lot of equity. Antonio Brown was a late-round draft choice. Hines Ward was a mid-round guy. So, I mean, they really do a great job. A couple more for you here, Wayne. Xavier McKinney's impact on your team has been what?
I'm sorry?
Xavier McKinney's impact on your team has been what?
It's been huge. In one word, huge. On the field, obviously. He's got 8 interceptions, 9 takeaways on his own. But you got to understand what they're working with in that secondary now. You've got young safeties, okay? He's working with Javon Bullard, a rookie, Evan Williams, another rookie safety. He's coordinating a secondary that does not have its best cover corner, Jair Alexander, who's been gone virtually all year. I think it's been profound. A guy like him, the character he brings to the locker room, he impacts these young players, teaching them how to look at film. Because players come out of college, they don't know what they're looking at. They really don't. Oh, I look at a lot of film. Yeah, but what are you looking for? I mean, the reason the Packers won the Super Bowl in 2010, one of the unsung players on that team, one of the unsung reasons they won was the performance of Charles Woodson, not on the field, but off the field. He took all these young guys like Nick Collins and Tremont Williams and brought them under his wing and said, no, guys, this is what you're looking for on film here. This is what these guys do. This is how we're, and he taught them how to prepare. Well, McKinney's having very much the same impact in the Packers. And on offense, Jacobs has brought that same type of thing same type of energy and intangible to the offensive side of the football. They've both been remarkably impactful here.
Finally here, would you agree Sunday's chance for the Packers to win? Got to establish the run game, kind of what you did in Green Bay, in Sao Paulo, in what you did. You had to establish the run game to get play action going, and you got to stop the run. I mean, you've been pretty good at stopping the run this year, especially over the last month. They've really upped their game in stopping the run, and you've got to make this a fourth quarter football game and give it to Love in the fourth quarter and take your best shot there in the fourth quarter. Is that how you see this playing out?
Yeah, I think the Packers have to get on the lead, play on the lead in this game. They might have to. They're a turnover type defense. They're top 5 in takeaways. Need to get a turnover, maybe 2. You're exactly right. They've got to stop the run. If Jalen Hurts is playing, and I think he will, I don't know how many designed runs they'll have for a guy who's been out for 3 weeks with a concussion. But you when you rush Jalen Hurts, you must contain him. Okay, it's not a matter of sacks. It's a matter of don't let him get outside, on the edge and hurt us with his legs, because he can do that. Very good against the run. The Packers have been, especially lately. You're exactly right. 3rd in rush average, which I think is the big stat in run defense. But I think they've got to get, the Packers have to get out on the lead and, kind of carry the tempo of the game if they can. They fall behind the Eagles like they fell behind the Vikings twice and the Lions twice in Philadelphia. That's not a good scenario.
I'll leave you with this because we get Merrill Reese on. He'll be on tomorrow. He's a dear friend of ours. He comes on our show pretty much weekly. and what I love about it is, he talks about all the generations of Philadelphia Eagle fans that he talks to. I wonder for you if that's a same feeling that you have, because that's such a tight community up there. I know folks who live up there. I know folks who have played up there. Lonzo Highsmith, by the way, was my former teammate at the University of Miami. And, he was up there for an executive for years.
Yep.
And I've played up there too. I wonder if you have that same kind of feeling, that it's just not being a broadcaster for a football team. It's being a broadcaster pretty much for one of the most iconic franchises in all of sports, not just football.
Oh, no question about it, Dan. I mean, it's a tremendous honor. And you're right, the fans, they're unique. It's funny. This is, football is important in some markets and not all markets, okay?
Right.
All markets that have NFL teams, it's not as important as it is in certain markets in this country, Green Bay being one, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia. I think it's a big deal in New York. It's huge in Chicago. It's huge in Kansas City and Denver. It's another piece of entertainment in LA. I think San Francisco is pretty good because they've won so much over the years. Yep. So they have a great fan base. It's, but it's not big in every place. And I've been fortunate. I've worked in Kansas City back when they were not good. Marv Levy's first years as a head coach. I've worked in Chicago with the 85 Bears when it was unbelievable. And then, in Green Bay. And I've had the honor of working in 3 of the top football markets in the country and for NFL. And it's just been a blessing. It really has. And you're exactly right. You talk to fans of all kinds of different generations. It's amazing when you think about it.
But wait a minute. I can't let you out of here when I heard 85 Bears. You've got to give these folks a Buddy Ryan. You've got to give them something on Buddy Ryan here. You being around Buddy Ryan and that maniac 85 Bears team. Let me tell you this, Wayne. They came down and played us in Tampa one year. This was 1987. They come down there, and I knew Mongo very well. I used to talk to him when he was at Texas, and I marveled at his game. I kind of patterned myself after him. This guy's out at a bar, Malika's bar, down there in Chicago or down there in Tampa. He's out all night with Hampton. These guys come in, they play a game the next day. These guys were maniacs, but you have to please give us a story here about Buddy.
He was probably out at Mons Venus.
Right there on Dale Mabry. Not that I know where it is. I just heard it there.
Yeah. I think we're incriminating ourselves on this program here right now. Oh, Buddy Ryan. I got to tell you, it's amazing. But we're in Miami. The Bears are undefeated. It's a big Monday night game in Miami, one of the biggest ones in the history of the entire series. So we're in Miami. It's the old Orange Bowl. It's Dan Marino, Duper, Clayton, all those guys. Here are the 85 Bears. And Jim McMahon's still on the shelf with an injury. And Miami just jumps all over the Bears. All of a sudden, they're moving the football like crazy. So it's halftime, and the Bears are down. And, Ditka and Buddy Ryan had a more of a truce than a coaching collaboration type thing. One time Ditka early on in his tenure went into Buddy Ryan's meeting room, and Buddy said, "What the hell are you doing in here? Get the hell out." But anyway, at halftime, so Ditka says, "You got to do this. You got to." And Buddy Ryan and Ditka almost came to blows, and the players had to break it up. The Bears go on to lose that game. And the next day, do you remember the song Super Bowl Shuffle?
Yes.
We take a red eye back home, and the next morning, those players went to a studio and did that show and did that recording. They did the video, they did this record, the whole thing. Dan Hampton decided, the great Hall of Fame defensive lineman, he says, "I'm not doing that. We haven't won anything yet." But everybody else showed up and did it. And it's just one of the way that team was. They were not going to be derailed by one loss. I think the only disappointment of the 85 season was that they didn't get Miami in the Super Bowl. New England beat Miami in Miami and eventually made the Super Bowl.
Wayne, I got to sneak this in on you. Do you think they underachieved not winning more Super Bowls?
Yeah. Well, I know, and I got to know a lot of the guys after that. I worked with many of them on the air in Chicago. Yeah, that's the first thing they would tell you, and that hurts more than the Super Bowl, the glow of the Super Bowl, because you're an athlete, you're a pro athlete, the losses are much tougher to take than the joy of winning. You know what I mean? The joy of winning doesn't last nearly as long as the sting of a loss. And, the Bears, we all thought they were the youngest team in the league, when they won that Super Bowl. Youngest team in the league. Of course they're going to win 2 or 3 more. This is a dynasty. Has to be. And that's before free agency now. Don't forget that, folks. That's before players moved around a whole lot.
Yep.
So, but they never got it back. They kind of lost the edge. The thing that bound them together as talents, as personalities, as spirits on this earth, the thing that bound them together was winning the Super Bowl after they were shut down in San Francisco the year before in the NFC Championship game. Once they won that Super Bowl, boom, it was like all of a sudden the direction was lost. Everybody was out to get everything that they could get. And they really lost kind of lost focus. I understand they went 14-2 the next year, but they lost at home in the playoffs to a Washington Redskins team that wasn't that good. And they lost the following year in the same situation at home to Washington. And that's the thing that really that stings with those players in that era.
Probably for you too, Wayne, having watched and how much talent they had. And like you said, I mean, they put a 15-1 team, then a 14. I mean, you're talking 30-3 basically in 3 years, counting the playoffs, over 30 wins in 2 years.
Yeah.
That's insane for them not to go back to back. And I wonder if that dynamic between Buddy Ryan and Mike Ditka not being in the locker room, because they saw the energy with those two. Once Buddy left that room, like you said, as you know, Wayne, sometimes when you grab the golden cup and you drink from it once, it's very hard to go back to it again and find it again. That's why repeating in our league is so hard. But yours also has to be an energy and a dynamic in that locker room. And I wonder if that relationship really fueled that football team to see those players, because weren't they divided where it was the defensive team, that was the offensive team, and then there was a team on Sundays?
Yeah. No, Dan, you're right. And I think Buddy's last game with the Bears was the Super Bowl 20, okay? He became coach of the Eagles, I believe, the week later.
Yep.
And that dynamic was missing. And I haven't really thought about it like that. But, yeah, maybe something was missing there. However, Vince Tobin came in, a fine defensive coordinator, and their numbers were better defensively in 1986 than they were in 85. But there was something missing from that team, that edge they had that got them to the Super Bowl and won the Super Bowl. That edge was gone, and I don't think people understand there's something mystical about winning a championship in football, because 53 people have to be on the same page. That's hard to do in our society. And the other thing is, there's a lot of bounce of the ball. It's one and done. It's not best of 7. You have a bad afternoon, your quarterback throws an interception at the wrong time, you're gone. And I saw it with the Packers. They won the Super Bowl 2010. 2011, they went 15-1. And the Giants came in, and the Packers had the home field advantage throughout the playoffs, number 1 seed. Giants came in and beat them down in the second half and went on to win the Super Bowl. So, hey, it's tough. It's not just about talent. There's something mystical about it. And if it's not your year, I don't care how good you are, you're not winning.
That's right, man. That's why these NFL playoffs this weekend, I don't care what your record is, man. You got out there, you got to play 60 minutes, because best man win in this fight. I mean, that's how this thing is. Wayne, have a great call, my friend, and thank you so much for your time.
Dan, always good to be with you. Enjoyed it. Take care.
Thank you so much, my friend. Wayne Larrivee, the golden voice of the Green Bay Packers, and one time the voice of the Chicago Bears and the 85 Bears. I didn't know that, or I had forgotten that he was there when Buddy Ryan was there in Chicago. That, think about that. Now, look at all those things. Look at the records so wait a minute. The Chicago Bears at 85. They went 15-1, and then they turned around the following year, went 14-2. They were 29-3 2 years. Who's that kind of remind you of a little bit with 2 14-win teams? How you doing? Hey, man, where's my boy M. Reyes? I need a 14-3. Somebody give me a 14-3. How you doing? Come on, Sue. Come on, Red Bottom Sue. Give me a 14-3. Oh, this is great. Wow. Woo! How you doing? High IQ, can't read a defense, can't throw 30 TD passes, a 30th passing attack, a great scrambler, took 40-plus sacks, 45-plus sacks. And there's a triple quarterback. There's a triple threat quarterback by no one. Look at this. High IQ. Can't read a defense. Can throw 30th passing attack. Great scrambler. Took 45-plus sacks. And there is a triple threat quarterback if I've ever seen one. How you doing? Yeah. Come on, Pop. 14-3. You got the Green Bay Packers. Hey, wait a minute here. You guys, hey, before I take a time out here, hold on. Then we'll go over what the coaches said today. Get you some takeaway here. Hold on here. Where is that? I got you know what, guys? You make me prepare so much for you fuckers, man. Oh. You make me prepare so much for you guys. It's absolutely sick here. So let me see here, man. Yeah, here it is. There's nowhere you have the advantage. Hey, Pump. Pump, the only advantage the Packers have is that quarterback. Hey, Pump. The only advantage the Green Bay Packers have is that quarterback. Oh, hey, look at that. The only advantage, Brian, would you not agree? The only advantage they have personnel-wise in this game is at the quarterback. All right? The most important position. Hey, get this. The guy didn't play well this year, they said, Love, because he's been hurt all year. Okay, fair enough. He still did anything better than Hurts did. Anything better. He missed games too. Oh, could that be enough? By the way, let me take a look at Green Bay here. Hey, by the way, let me ask you this. You guys think you have a better... I loved what Wayne Larrivee said about your guys, and I hadn't put it in that perspective, that A.J. Brown sucks the room up with his presence on the field, wide receiver-wise, and he attracts all that attention for everyone else. Well, how come everyone else in your football team doesn't benefit from that? You think that's why he's pissed off? Because I'm going to make a point here. A.J. Brown sucks so much of the attention out of the room, but no one else benefits from it. Here's what Jordan Love has. Let's see how many guys with 30 catches are on the Packer team and how many guys have 30 or more catches on the Eagles. So, Reed, 55. Kraft, 50. Watson, 30. Dobbs, 46. Wicks, 40. Jacobs, 36. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 guys on that team with 30 or more catches. Let's take a look at the Eagles. How many people on the Eagles receiving have over 30 catches? AJ 1, Devontae 2, 68. Dallas 3, 42. Barkley 33. You got 4. You got 4 guys. And you're ranked 30th. Brusco's receivers were hurt a lot. So were the Packer receivers. So was Jordan Love. How many games did Jordan Love play this year? Jordan Love. He played 15. He missed 2 games. He's banged up all year. Shit, that guy Malik Willis came in and played well. He had a 1,300-yard back. What a great year, man, for Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs had 400 basically yards and receptions, and he got 1,300 yards in rushing. This guy had 1,700 yards in total offense. It's pretty damn good for a guy up in Green Bay that people were telling me here that Josh Jacobs was washed. You got 1,700 total yards? That's a pretty good. Sills is glazing the Packers. Oh, no. I said you're better at every position except the quarterback. No. Glazing. Where did you get glazing? When I just said you're better everywhere except the quarterback and the play caller. Matt LaFleur's got a Super Bowl ring with the Rams. Okay, I mean, and he's a head coach play caller. Big Glaze. Big Glaze what? You're better than you're better than them. How am I glazing over the Packers when I said you're better at every position but the quarterback? How am I glazing the Packers? Where'd you get that? The Packers are this week's boogeyman. Okay? Play caller's great. Look at Chris. Chris says it doesn't matter that our quarterback doesn't have to be special this weekend. All right. I think you do. Sills has been wrong about the Eagles all year long? No, I haven't. What have you been right about? What have you won? The ultimate is winning. I said your quarterback would struggle. He did. Boom! Your quarterback struggled. Defense better come ready to play because they're going to have that ball out. Jalen Hurts, they're going to have to bail out Jalen Hurts. Hurts might only throw for 130 yards in this game, and they may have to bail out Hurts. Here's what I think Hurts' numbers will be this weekend against that Packer team there, Lord's grace. You ready? Let's see. Well, he's averaged 170 yards this year. So let's see here. Let me see what Jalen's average this year. Let's see what he's averaged. Okay. So the offense has averaged 180 yards. Wait a minute, 178 yards. Let me get the updated total before I take a time out here. Oh, it's just championship week. Hey, Pump. Let me get. Hold on here, Pump. Here we go. Offense. Let's see what the greatness of the 30th ranked passing attack will go for this week. Let me see here, and I'll tell you what Hurts' numbers will be. We got to go way down the list here. Here it is. Okay, they ended up 29th. Oh, they improved. So they average 187. I'm going to say Hurts will throw for about 140. And he'll run for about 60 in a TD. That'll be his numbers. We won 14 if 17. Sills, are you picking Green Bay? I'm not telling anybody until Friday. It's been a good omen for us. Every time you pick against Us, Eduardo. I say Hurts throws for 140 yards. A touchdown, 60 yards rushing, 200 yards of total offense. Jordan Love's probably going to throw for about 265. What did he throw in the first one? Tell me what he threw in the first one. Probably 265, 2 TDs. I don't know if that's enough, though. Oh, and Jacobs is going to – Jacobs, if the Packers are going to win, Love's going to have to go for 280, and Josh Jacobs is going to have to go for 130. That's 410 between the two of them. I think you're going to need a game like that from those two guys. You're going to need 130 yards north of that rushing and a 280-yard game from Love. And like what's his name said, you don't really need much from Hurts to just get 140 yards past. And I think Barkley will probably have about 165 yards in a TD. Yeah, because Hurts has thrown 3 TDs all year, right, Scott? Hey, Chris, you must think Tanner McKee's playing. You must think Tanner McKee's playing, Junior. All supers go to the top, baby. Brace yourself, Sills. Winter's coming. Ooh. Ooh. Snowflakes are among us. Kobe is comical when their hero is pedestrian. Hey, did somebody look up the stats? The quarterback at St. Joe's Prep, how many yards did he throw for? How many yards did that guy throw for this year? The guy at St. Joe's Prep. I don't even know who the fuck he is. Sorry. Stats. There goes Sue. She knows she gets me every time. Red bottom Sue. Stats. Right. Sills doesn't know winner because it was the word win in it. Oh, a halfway decent take. Look at it. Look at Sue. She knows. Hey, Sue, I know how to get you too, sweetie. Okay? How you doing? But to see, Sue, the difference between me and you and me have a good relationship. We have a working relationship. I'm not like those guys at Fox. Not to go anywhere with it. I'll leave it alone. I'm not saying anything. I've been asked to comment publicly. I'm not answering another question on it. I'm out. This one, I thought I was out. They try to pull me back in. So, Sills, Joy Taylor worked with you for 2 years. What do you? I don't know. I don't know anything. I don't know anything. Yeah. I just know she worked hard. She was a great kid. My wife and I loved her. Okay? Yeah, don't believe everything you read about her, man. She's a good kid, man. She worked hard for us. My wife groomed her well to be a producer and helped her become a producer. And we were helping her in the business, and we gave her first on-air job. I did. I gave her first on-air job, and she did it. And I got to tell you, you know how I did it? Unlike people like M. Reyes, like Jason Whitlock can't control themselves because they see a pretty woman. You know what I did? You know what I told her? Work hard. You'll move up. That's what my wife told her. Get him a guest. She got me Dan Marino. When she got me Dan Marino, then things turned around for her. Yeah. I don't need to do that shit. I got a smoking wife. See, when you have a great-looking wife and you got somebody you love, you don't have to worry about that shit. I never acted like that. All the things I've been accused of, I've never been accused of any of that bullshit. Okay? That's not me. I mean, hey, get this. I don't need to hang my job over somebody's head to have sex with them. That's not going to happen. That would never happen. I got a daughter, man. How could my daughter look at me like that if I had done something like that? Or my aunt or my folks. It matters what they think. I do not subscribe to that bullshit. Okay? I do not. Yeah, they got me Marino. I'm going to show you the picture of me and Dan Marino. That Joy goes, I'm going to get you Dan Marino. And I said, yeah, okay, right. You're going to get me Dan Marino. She did get me Dan Marino. And after that, I had a pretty decent here. Joy was producing this show. And Dan Marino sat in for an hour on my program. She went up to him, asked him. Dan came down to bomb. Yale, you remember Bob Baumhauer, who played for Don Shula? And we were at Baumhauer's. And Dan came down, did the show for about an hour with me. Sat there with me. You want to see something really cool? I put this out there. This is how cool we were and how linked we are. There's me on the front page of the Miami News. And Dan Marino sitting on his ass when the Niners beat him. And there we are years later, sitting around interviewing. I'm interviewing him. And we played at the Orange Bowl together. There's me at the Orange Bowl the day before. And there's Marino on his ass on the front page of the Miami News. And there's Dan Marino and me. Pretty cool time. Hey, think about this, Yale. The Dolphins, I think in my 3 years there, I think they lost 5 games at the Orange Bowl. I lost 1 in 3 years. So there was a lot of winning on the weekends down there in South Florida. A lot of winning at the OB. I was, by the way, the night that Wayne Larrivee was talking, I was there that night for that Chicago Bear game. I was sitting on the sidelines. Coach Shula invited the Miami Hurricanes to stand on the sidelines that night. We were standing there, and I watched Miami beat the Bears that night. It was the final regular season game of the year. It was a Monday night game. It was so packed. I think we had beaten Florida State or Oklahoma. I can't remember. But we'd beaten somebody big that Saturday. And Don Shula sent a message to Jimmy and said to us, why don't you bring the guys? So almost the entire football team, me and Jerome and everybody, were standing there on the sidelines during that Monday night football game when the Chicago Bears showed up. The Bears were 15-0. The Dolphins they had a great record themselves. I think they had 12 wins or some shit. And we're all standing there on the sidelines. I couldn't believe that the Dolphins beat them. The Bears were so great. And yeah, I was standing on the sidelines. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I got introduced to Buddy Ryan that night by Norman Brayman, because Brayman was going to name him at the end of the season the head coach of the Eagles. Yeah, I think that's how that worked. And that's how my relationship with Buddy Ryan really took off. Was I became friends with him at Monday night. Not friends with him. I was an acquaintance moment. Was a couple of years. Was a year later that I met him and was coached by him a little bit. Candidate to replace if Kellen Moore's out. Who would I take? They're going forward with Shane Steichen. Yeah, Norman Brayman's still alive. You can't hire Todd Monken. Eric Bieniemy's never worked with a dual threat guy, Charlie. Charlie, just don't hire a guy to hire a guy. Gruden in a heartbeat. John Gruden and Jalen Hurts. No way. Woke-ass Lori would never go for that. Never happen. No way. No way. Then again, he brought in Michael Vick. He signed Vick. He signed Vick, right? Oh, wait a minute. Let me think. No way. I know why he signed Vick. Okay, no. That won't work. If it was a different deal, he wouldn't have signed him. But it was a perfect scenario for a guy like Lori. So no, that won't happen. Let me see. Who would be that's a really great question. Who would you put in there? Would you bring Duggan? Andy vouched for Vic. I was there. I broke that story. I told you, Yale, I broke that story when Vic was signed by the Eagles. I know Michael Vick very well. Okay? I do. That was the 85 championship team. Gruden was shit all over Sirianni. Gruden would not. Would never work. You want to know, hey, you want a Buddy Ryan, Mike Dicker relationship? You're right. Hire. I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be shocked if Frank Reich gets a call because Nick has a great admiration for him and loves him. And wait a minute. I got it. It is Frank Reich. Frank Reich will be the new offensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles if Kellen Moore gets a job. And Yale, why would he be the next head coach? Let me put this together for you before I take a timeout. You ready? I'll try to get Vic on the show. Okay. Nick Sirianni was the wide receiver coach when Frank Reich was in San Diego. Let me put it together. Hey, I'm going to put it together, and you tell me if you subscribe to it. Nick Sirianni was the wide receiver coach in San Diego when Frank Reich was working for Mike McCoy. And he was the offensive coordinator there. Fast forward. He was the head coach in Indianapolis, and he was the offensive coordinator, Nick Sirianni, in Indianapolis. Who is the one quarterback? There you go. Who is the one quarterback that Jalen Hurts talks about all the time when it comes to understanding Nick Sirianni? Phillip Rivers. Frank coached Phillip Rivers his best year. Phillip Rivers. Frank Reich will be the next off. I'm predicting if Kellen leaves, Frank will be he'll be interviewed for that job. Now, how much money is he still being paid from David Tepper is going to be the issue in trying to sign him. Okay? Frank took 2 years off now. He's made a ton of money. He was being paid $10 million. Sills, I'm one of the few unbiased Eagle fans here. Detroit is who we want to be. But they have a guy at quarterback. Our guy is behind a guy. Tanner is him. No, Abe. You don't have to pay it. No, Abe. You don't have to pay it. Arizona's still paying Cliff Kingsbury his money. Everybody thinks Cliff Kingsbury's going to. You know why Cliff Kingsbury hasn't been interviewed for a job? Why do you think Cliff Kingsbury hasn't been interviewed for a job? That guy's still making $5.5 million from Arizona. He's got 2 more years on it. The fuck that guy going to do? That guy makes more money than he makes more money than Nick Sirianni. Why would he take a shitty job and make the same money taking a shitty job when I'm in Washington now and I've got a kid who looks like he's the next dude? Why in the world would I do that? I wouldn't. I mean, like I said, he's probably making $1.5 million as a coordinator, and he's making $5.5 million still off that Arizona contract. This guy's making $7 million sitting in Washington as the OC, and he makes more than Nick Sirianni. Why would I do that? You wouldn't. That's why you don't see his name. Because Cliff Kingsbury's going to look at you and do this. I'm not interviewing for the Jags job. For what? I still got $11 million coming from Arizona. What the hell would I want to sit there and go down there with that mess? They're turning shit around in Washington. Why would I do that? Okay? But why in the world would I do that? I wouldn't. How you doing? All right, my friends, don't forget our great friends at BetUS. We've teamed up with them throughout this football season. We are imploring you to log on to their website. You got college football games. You have got the NFL playoffs this weekend and the YouTube 150, my friends. Absolutely there for you. 150% for you to sign up with your sign-in bonus right there for you. The 2K in your sign-in bonus. Also, on top of that, 125 in your second and 125 in your third when you sign up there with your sign-in bonuses up to 2K. Don't forget also you could discover BetUS Casino's great slot machines. I'm a slot enthusiast myself. I love the fact that you get to play the slots. Test your skills on this right now, too. You can also do this. Sign up right now. 200% in the sign-up bonuses up to 5K. And then 250% if you're into crypto up to 5K. Get ready to rush yourself into a great time when it comes to playing those slots, bad puppies. BetUS is a place for you to go. Great opportunity for you to sign up with all their great games. And by the way, they've got great tournaments that you can find. So find yourself over and get yourself over there to the amazing deals. 200% in your sign-up bonuses to 5K. Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. And do me a favor. Tell them Big Sil sent you.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The following is a real testimonial from the father of a young injured victim.
I didn't think she was going to make it.
Major Perry's daughter was the victim of a horrific accident caused by someone else's negligence.
If you don't find the right counselor, law firm that you're looking for, you will get lost in the wilderness.
Badly injured? Call the Fritz and Bianculli Law Firm at 215-458-2222 and find out why they say, "We got this."
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
noticed that there was mold creeping into our basement about a year and a half ago, and wanted to make sure that we were getting rid of the problem permanently. We actually reached out to several different contractors to get it resolved, and actually 2 of them recommended DryTech to us as a long-term solution. Other than the noise factor, we wouldn't even know that there was work being done on the basement level. It's really been a clean process for us.
Score and save this football season on your car insurance. Before the next game, save up to 40% on your auto insurance policy. That's right, 40% savings. Call an audible this season and contact the Del Val Insurance Group. They're an advocate for you, not an insurance company. That means they'll get you the right coverage and save you up to 40%. Call managing partners Fran or Jim of Del Val Insurance, 215-354-0122, or score and save at dvigi.com. dvigi.com.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Hit that like button. 222 likes right now. Come on, let's get to 250 before we get the hell out of here. Appreciate you guys coming aboard. By the way, Merrill Reese will be with us tomorrow. We're also working on Eric Allen for this playoff run. Hopefully we can get him on weekly. So we're working on Eric Allen. How you doing? All right. By the way, isn't it funny? Everybody keeps saying, hey, Big Sills, he says this. Why do all your Eagle people want to keep coming on the program? Why would that be? If I'm such an asshole and such a racist, why does Marcus Hayes come on? I don't know. I mean, maybe it's them and not us. Maybe it's them, right? Maybe it's them and not us. Remember something, man. They always take shots at you when you're on the way up. Devil don't come at you when shit's bad. He comes after you when things are good. That's why they like the show. They don't want to admit it. It's been a story of my life. But I got to do something to you here. I want every Philadelphia Eagle fan to do me a favor right now. I'm going to do something here. Here, let me get this. I'm writing out a promissory note to all Eagle fans. If we don't win the Super Bowl, I, Sue, will wash Sileo's feet for the next 6 months. M. Reyes will serve me cocktails. See here. Anthony will have to have dinner with me. Let's see here. Okay, hold on here. I go. Senorita will have to pluck my back hairs. This is a lot here. Hang on, and I'm going to make you sign it here. Hang on. All Eagle fans, promise this in Eagle name, I swear. Do you all agree? Twiz, forgot Twiz. Twiz has to wash my hair. No, because I don't want to get friendly rub up. I never let a dude wash my hair or cut my hair. I don't like friendly rub up. You know, when you're in the barber's chair and you got all of a sudden a guy drags his coulions on your elbows. It's not going to work for me. So I can't have that. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Flexen, I got to get his ass in there too. So you know what? I don't like rub up. That's why guys don't cut my hair and wash my hair. I can't have that because I'm a large dude, right? And everybody and all these guys like to drag their cannoli on my arm, and it's just not good. And so I end up leaving there feeling like I was accosted. How'd your haircut go? Kim goes, horrible, man. The guy was all over me. I had Raisinets and I had a cannoli all over my arms. Everywhere. I had Raisinets and cannolis. They were everywhere. I was like, holy shit, man. Honest to God, my poor elbows took a beating and they were abused. Holy shit. I felt like I was at a Fox Sports meeting. I can't help myself. I can't help myself, man. I'm sorry. I just can't help myself. So, all right. Are you ready to sign? Are you guys ready to sign? Twiz, wait a minute. What do I got? Wait, not Twiz. Who else are we? Let's see here. Hey, Niner all day. Who else do I got to get in here? Oh, you guys are signing this, man. I could clean your glasses so you could see the elite quarterback play. I was thinking that maybe I could read better. No position to demand shit. You reneged on your. I haven't reneged on Dick. You haven't won shit, guy. Come on, Twiz. Come on, Twizzy. Are you kidding me, man? What can I get Sue to do better for me? Let me see. Oh, Flexen. That's it, Flexen. What can I get Flexen to do for me? Flexen. He could shave my hair and my ears. No, I got another place he could shave. My personal manscape. Holy shit, Flexen, you're my personal manscape. Personal manscape. Okay. Nah, you're right. That's okay. I just threw up on myself. Yeah, and I don't want Sue to do it because I'm not that guy. Yeah, I'm going to have to leave the Kuyans alone. I really don't like anybody touching the atomic bomb any. Yeah, we'll leave that alone. Again, I feel like I'm at a Fox Sports meeting, but hey, we'll leave that alone. You're right. I don't want anybody touching the atomic bomb. So, are we ready? Philadelphia Eagle fans, I have a promissory note. Are you ready to sign? Yes or no? You're winning the Super Bowl. Right? You're winning the Super Bowl. I'm waiting. Yes. Okay. This now gives me permission to do this. Your quarterback, everything I said, is going to turn out to be true. The coordinator was wrong. They couldn't spread the ball around. And the weakest link in your huddle is your QB. And this is what you get. I am going to do this. I'm going to put as many people on that Monday show as I can to go off on me. And you get a chance to come on the show that Monday and tell me what an asshole I am. Deal? Make you stars like I make everybody in life. Deal? Do we have a deal? You get to say anything you want. Got a deal? Okay. I traditionally don't do that. But we're going to make an exception here. Yeah, look at M-Rap. Sure. That guy's the ultimate small cannoli. Deal. Okay. Here is the playoff JAKIB Sports National Football Show deal. You guys are going to have to come on this program. And by the way, some of you are going to get destroyed if you lose it. Because I'll be right. And if you win, it'll be a rough day for Big Sills. This is the ultimate challenge. I've been in this 35 fucking years. You think I let anybody come on the program and talk shit to me? You know the only guy I've ever let come on the program and talk shit to me has been Joy and Xander. The rest of them, I kill those guys. Nor would I ever put them on again. I don't think you guys know. I had a guy at Fox Sports. I threw off my program, and he was the actor. He was an actor's kid when I was in Los Angeles, and his son was doing updates. They gave him this job. He was Rebecca De Mornay's husband, and he was his ex. He's not married, but they put him in. He was Ryan O'Neal's son, who now is I think he's the stadium show host for the Los Angeles Kings. And it was his first gig. This guy was the biggest dick on the planet. And I don't mean literally. He started talking shit to me. And I fucking said, get your shit and get home. My wife was producing the show at the time in LA. My bosses came down from Los Angeles and we were in Hollywood. We were right there. Rebecca De Mornay and all, that was his husband. That was her husband. And he goes, did you send him home? I go, yeah. And Kim was sitting there. He goes, well, Dan can be pretty intimidated when he gets into that frame of mind. I wasn't going to hit him, but I told him, if you don't get out of here, I'm going to throw you off the top roof. And he goes, you've done this before, haven't you? And I go, I have. I have thrown a guy out of a window, and you're going to be next. That guy was so afraid. Yeah, it was Ryan O'Neal's kid. Patrick O'Neal is his name. I think he still works for Comcast, or not Comcast. I forget what it is in LA. Yeah, I was so pissed off. He was talking shit to me, man. I said, get your fucking shit out of here. I was on in 350 markets. And I just went, get the fuck out of here. Tony Bruno walked in. He couldn't believe what I had done. I told the kid, get your shit and get out of here, or I'm going to rip your head off. And he left. We had a big meeting. He came back the next day, and he was way better, and he was good. I hated the kid from then on, and they moved him off my show. Hey, I did. I was the end of that. I was like, he was talking to me about this, and he was, the shit that Xander does? Here's the difference. I like Xander, and I want Xander to be great. I don't care about him. I didn't think he got why he got the job? Because his dad was Ryan O'Neal. And his sister's Tatum O'Neal, who won the Academy Award. And I met Tatum. Tatum goes, he's an asshole. I'm friends with Tatum O'Neal. Ryan O'Neal this is a crazy story. I don't even know how I got here. Ryan O'Neal used to call my wife. Is Patrick there? I think he just passed away. He goes, is my son here? And you hear these two guys going back and forth, and I'm going like, Patrick, this is a place of business, man. This is not like Family Feud, or this is not like a marriage counselor's place. I mean, come on, man. Yeah, it was really wild. That Fox slot's crazy. I worked on that Fox slot. Okay? Crazy. Yeah. So Tatum, I wanted to meet Tatum O'Neal. So Tatum comes into my studio. And then Henry Rollins, I had Henry Rollins, Tatum O'Neal, and we're sitting there talking sports. Tatum's a big sports fan. How about that, Yale? Crazy. I know. I've met some nutty people, man. I'll send her a text every now and then on her birthday. Crazy. Sills, remember when you called John McMullen stupid on the postgame show and then apologized? That segment was heated and awesome. Yeah, Xander made me. No, I'll tell you why I did it. Xander didn't. You know why I did? Because I don't want everybody that I work with to hate me my whole life. I did it for selfish reasons. I meant everything I said, though. I just didn't. I like John. I like John. I do. I legitimately, like, I would have John on my show, but I don't want to. You know why I don't put John on my show? Do you want me to tell you why I don't put John McMullen on my program? And I don't really ask anymore. I haven't asked for months. Do you want to know why I don't ask John to come on? I don't want to make his job harder at the NovaCare Center. Honest to God, it's the only reason. I don't want to make his job harder. He's got a hard enough job walking into that place, knowing that I work with him. Believe me. Okay? Believe me. And he's got a job to do, and he's going to feed his family. Okay? And I don't want to make his job harder. I mean, dude, Bob Lang, if he could have put a curse on me, he would. He just said people who, with John's take, was stupid for aggressiveness and fourth down calls. It was some, I don't even remember what the hell I said. Yeah, those WIP guys are funny. They're not allowed. Hey, get this, Chris. Does this sound familiar? Xander, does this sound familiar? The WIP guys are not allowed to come on my program. Like Brandon Graham is not allowed to speak his mind on something. Gee, kind of reminds me of somebody. What's that guy's name? Get Mike Missinelli on? Why would I do that? I get good people on my program. I like people that are good. I can never help myself. I don't know why. Flex and Sills wants you to. I know I opened it up. Baldy, I'm going to work on Baldy tomorrow, man. I am. I'm going to work on Brian Baldinger tomorrow. Brian Baldinger's got the Eagles going 4-0. Oh, Maniac, I'm going to put you on. Hey, okay, get NJ fishing, and I'll have this chat rolling. I might have you on anyway, brother. Listen, because you've been here since day one. I got to tell you, Maniac, you're one of the reasons the show is where it is, and I appreciate you. You know that. Can you imagine him on a Monday if they win the Super Bowl, the Eagles? Oh, my God. It'd be too much to handle. I told you. Once again, Taylor, you keep mentioning people that suck. Offer him 1.5. That's funny. That's a good point. If I was going to offer a chick for $1.5 million, here's what I would do. Do you guys not agree? If you're going to offer somebody sex, or you're going to offer somebody $1.5 million for sex, I would do this. Excuse me. Halle Berry, here is a 3-year contract. I have perks and incentives, dinners, gifts. And here's the incentive package along with the 1.5 million. Remember, my wife times me with an egg timer, so we're not talking about a lot here, and we're not talking about a long extended period of time. So we could do a 3-year contract with incentives. I'm not doing it for once. I'm not getting my value out of that. It's kind of like signing Bryce Huff. Hey, wait a minute. Who do you think got more value out of that 1.5? Skip or Howie with that Bryce Huff sign? Roseman? All right. Oh, my God. Hey, Merrill Reese will join us tomorrow. The only show like it of its kind is right here. You guys make it happen. I can't thank you enough, man. Make sure you hit that like button. I'm hoping Eric Allen tomorrow. I can't share a video he sent me. I sent it to Xander. He likes it. It was absolutely awesome. He got a chance to light the torch for the Raiders this past weekend. It's totally dope. One of the really cool experiences. But he's always an Eagle at heart, guys. You know that. So Merrill's for sure tomorrow, probably in the 5:30 hour. We will have him. Do me a favor, hit that like button. We appreciate you guys so much. Thank you again. Big Z, Joe, we appreciate it. 2 to 6 tomorrow. We'll see you on the flip side.